Hotels are meant to be places of rest, of comfort, but for some, the night brings more than sleep. Guests across the United States have shared terrifying experiences. Rooms where lights flicker without reason, doors open and slam on their own, and shadows that watch silently from corners. Tonight, we step into the chilling stories of travelers who became unwilling witnesses to the supernatural. These are the most 25 real haunted hotel stories shared by guests where the past refuses to rest, and neither do the spirits within. The Driscoll Hotel in Austin, Texas, is more than just a luxurious destination. It is a living piece of history with a reputation that stretches far beyond its elegant architecture and southern charm. Opened in 1886 by Colonel Jesse Driscoll, the hotel has hosted presidents, celebrities, and countless travelers over the decades. Yet beneath its grand chandeliers and polished marble lies a darker side, one that has drawn curiosity and fear from both guests and locals alike. Stories of ghostly encounters, unexplained phenomena, and lingering spirits have made the Driscoll one of the most haunted hotels in the United States, blending history with a spectral presence that refuses to be ignored. Room 525 is perhaps the most notorious of all. Guests who have stayed in the room often report waking in the dead of night to cold hands pressing on their shoulders, despite the absence of any human presence. Some describe the sensation as a firm weight, almost as if someone were standing behind them, watching. The experience leaves many shaken, with the feeling of being touched by a presence that is both protective and ominous. One traveler reported awakening to see a man in a 19th century suit standing by the window, his gaze fixed out onto the city streets below. When approached, the figure vanished, leaving behind only the faint scent of cigar smoke and the chill of a cold draft. The ghostly figure is believed to be Colonel Jesse Driscoll himself, or perhaps one of the many guests who met an untimely death within the hotel's walls. Local legend holds that Driscoll's spirit remains vigilant, either protecting his creation or punishing those who fail to respect the history and integrity of the building. Employees of the hotel recount similar incidents, noting sudden cold spots in hallways, lights flickering without cause, and doors opening and closing on their own. In many cases, the activity seems to concentrate around areas most associated with the hotel's original grandeur, including the lobby and upper floors where guests in the 19th century would have stayed. Visitors have also reported hearing unexplained noises. Footsteps echo through empty corridors late at night. The sound of a piano playing softly drifts from vacant rooms, and faint voices can sometimes be heard, whispering conversations from long ago. One guest described hearing the clatter of dishes in the kitchen when no staff were present, followed by the unmistakable sound of a key turning in a lock and a door creaking open. These auditory phenomena reinforce the sense that the hotel is a place where the past refuses to remain silent, where echoes of former lives and long-gone events continue to manifest in the present. Several accounts suggest that the spirits at the Driscoll are not merely restless, but possess a sense of purpose. Guests who disrespect the hotel, whether through reckless behavior, vandalism, or disregard for history, report unusual misfortunes during their stay. One visitor ignored warnings to treat the room with care and found their belongings mysteriously moved, items shattered, and a persistent feeling of being observed throughout the night. The hotel staff, familiar with these stories, often advise newcomers to remain respectful, suggesting that the spirits of the Driscoll respond to the energy and intentions of those within its walls. Paranormal investigators have studied the Driscoll extensively, noting that room 525 and the surrounding areas exhibit strong readings of electromagnetic activity, unexplained cold spots, sudden temperature drops, and recorded EVPs, electronic voice phenomena, suggest that some form of consciousness may indeed linger in the hotel. Investigators have captured recordings of faint whispers calling out names, indistinct laughter, and the sound of objects being dragged across floors. Some speculate that these manifestations are residual hauntings, echoes of past events replaying themselves. while others believe that intelligent spirits actively interact with the living. The history of the hotel itself may provide insight into its haunting. The Driscoll has survived financial troubles, fires, and countless renovations, standing as a testament to the resilience of Austin itself. The hotel has hosted funerals, political gatherings, and lavish celebrations, each leaving behind a tapestry of emotional energy. This combination of historical significance and human experience may have contributed to the presence that many guests describe as watchful and sometimes protective. The spirits of the Driscoll are said to maintain a connection to the hotel, as if it were their own, ensuring that respect and reverence are observed within its walls. Over the years, many guests have shared their stories, adding layers to the legend. Some claim that they awoke to find shadows lingering near their beds, while others insist that mirrors reflected figures who were not present in the room. A recurring theme among these accounts is the feeling of being watched, as though unseen eyes follow movements from one end of the room to the other. Even in the lobby, employees report glimpsing a figure in period clothing, pacing silently, disappearing when approached. The consistency of these reports has helped solidify the reputation of the Driscoll as a truly haunted location. Despite the fear it can invoke, many visitors are drawn to the Driscoll because of its haunted reputation. Guests who come seeking a paranormal experience are often treated to a blend of history and mystery, where the luxurious ambience of the hotel contrasts sharply with the eerie stories that permeate its hallways. The combination of high-end accommodations, historical significance, and ghostly activity makes the hotel a unique destination for both travelers and those intrigued by the supernatural. The Driscoll Hotel remains a place where the past and present intertwine, where the legacy of Colonel Jesse Driscoll and the countless lives that have passed through its halls continue to make themselves known. Guests in room 525, employees, and visitors all report encounters that defy logical explanation, leaving many to wonder whether the hotel itself is alive with spirits determined to maintain their presence. Whether viewed as protective guardians, vengeful entities, or echoes of history, the hauntings of the Driscoll Hotel ensure that it remains one of Austin's most fascinating and chilling landmarks. The Hollywood Roosevelt Hotel in Los Angeles, California, is renowned for its glamorous past, luxury accommodations, and connections to Hollywood's golden age. Opened in 1927, the hotel has hosted celebrities, film premieres, and countless parties over nearly a century. Yet beneath its glitz and elegance lies a shadowy side that has captured the imagination of both locals and visitors. A long-standing reputation for paranormal activity, reports of ghosts, unexplained phenomena, and chilling encounters have cemented the Hollywood Roosevelt as one of the most haunted hotels in the United States, attracting thrill seekers, paranormal investigators, and curious guests from around the world. From the moment guests step into the lobby, many report feeling a strange, almost electric atmosphere. Some describe a sense of being watched, as if unseen eyes follow their movements. Shadowy figures have been spotted walking down hallways and disappearing into walls, often just at the edge of vision. The phenomenon is not limited to fleeting glimpses. Guests have also reported hearing doors opening and slamming with no wind or human presence. The sounds echo through the ornate corridors, startling even seasoned travelers. Rooms that have been vacant for weeks seem to experience unexplained disturbances, with lights flickering, objects moving, or cold drafts sweeping across the space as if something unseen is moving through the hotel. One of the most famous incidents occurred in the lobby itself. A guest, an amateur photographer fascinated by the hotel's history, attempted to capture the grandeur of the Roosevelt on film. Later, when reviewing the photographs, the guest noticed a figure seated in a chair that no longer exists in the lobby. The figure was dressed in attire reminiscent of the hotel's early days, a formal suit and a neatly combed hairstyle typical of the 1920s. The man seemed to be watching the camera, yet vanished completely from the next frame. Attempts to identify the figure through historical records proved inconclusive, fueling speculation that the hotel preserves echoes of past visitors, frozen in time, yet somehow interacting with the living. These are not mere fleeting sounds. Many describe clear, deliberate voices, speaking in soft tones, often calling out names or repeating fragments of conversations. Some whispers appear comforting, while others are ominous, leaving listeners with a lingering sense of unease. In some cases, guests report feeling cold hands brushing against them or the sensation of being gently pushed. Unlike typical poltergeist activity, these manifestations seem to interact with the emotions of the person experiencing them, sometimes reflecting fear, excitement, or curiosity. The hotel's hallways and staircases are particularly active. Guests walking to or from their rooms have seen fleeting figures in vintage attire, often disappearing when approached. Some report seeing individuals in formal dresses or tuxedos gliding silently through the halls, suggesting echoes of the Hollywood parties and premieres that once filled the building. Housekeeping staff have occasionally discovered rooms rearranged after hours, items slightly displaced, or doors that were firmly closed, left wide open. While many of these incidents can be attributed to human activity or simple misplacement, the consistency and pattern of the reports have convinced paranormal enthusiasts that something more profound is at work. Room 928, a corner suite, has become infamous among visitors. Guests staying in this room have reported cold spots, shadows that move independently, and a constant feeling of being observed. Some claim to have felt the presence of a female spirit, believed by some to be an actress or socialite from the hotel's early years. She is often described as elegant, with a presence both commanding and distant. Witnesses note that lights dim and flicker when she is near, and objects sometimes shift position mysteriously. While many dismiss these reports as imagination, the repeated nature of the claims suggests a deep-seated phenomenon tied to the hotel's long history. Paranormal investigators have visited the Hollywood Roosevelt multiple times. They report high electromagnetic activity in certain hallways and rooms, unexplained temperature fluctuations, and consistent readings that suggest the presence of intelligent entities. Some investigators have captured faint electronic voice phenomena, EVPs, in vacant rooms, often consisting of whispers, laughter, or the echo of conversations long past. Others have documented shadow figures on camera, seemingly aware of their observation, vanishing whenever anyone approaches. These findings, while not universally accepted by skeptics, contribute to the hotel's reputation as a location where the past refuses to remain silent. The hotel's history itself may hold clues to its haunting. As one of Los Angeles' oldest and most famous hotels, it has witnessed countless events, both joyous and tragic. Celebrities have passed through its halls, parties have raged into the night, and accidents and deaths have occurred within its walls. Some theorists suggest that the intense emotional energy left by these events has embedded itself into the fabric of the building, allowing spirits to linger and interact with the living. Others propose that certain tragic or unresolved deaths have caused specific individuals to remain tethered to the location. Despite its eerie reputation, the Hollywood Roosevelt continues to thrive as both a historical landmark and a hotel. Guests are drawn not only by its luxury accommodations and central location in Hollywood, but also by the allure of experiencing something beyond the ordinary. Many visitors actively seek encounters, hoping to glimpse a shadowy figure or capture a mysterious image on camera. Others are content to simply feel the presence of history, knowing that the hotel is a living testament to nearly a century of Hollywood glamour and ghostly whispers. From the lobby to room 928, the spirits of the past make themselves known, offering both a glimpse into Hollywood's golden age and a chilling reminder that some echoes never fade. Visitors, employees, and paranormal investigators alike continue to share their experiences, ensuring that the hotel's ghostly reputation remains as vibrant and enduring as its storied past. Whether viewed as protective, mischievous, or simply residual energy, the spirits of the Hollywood Roosevelt Hotel ensure that it remains one of Los Angeles' most fascinating and haunted locations. The Omni Parker House in Boston, Massachusetts, is a historic hotel with a legacy stretching back nearly 2 centuries. Opened in 1855, The hotel has long been a landmark of the city, hosting presidents, writers, and countless visitors drawn to its elegant architecture and storied past. Yet beyond its reputation for luxury and fine dining, the Omni Parker House is infamous for the paranormal activity reported by guests over the years. Tales of ghostly figures, unexplained sounds, and objects moving independently have made it a prime destination for those fascinated by haunted history. One of the most frequently mentioned phenomena occurs in the hallways and common areas. Guests report hearing whispers and voices reciting poetry or singing songs from long ago, often echoing faintly as if carried through the walls from another era. These sounds are usually heard at night when the hotel is quiet, and often seem to come from empty rooms or from the corridors themselves. Some witnesses claim that the voices are familiar, as if echoing phrases once spoken by past guests or employees, while others insist the language and rhythm are foreign, reminiscent of the 19th century when the hotel first opened. Room 303 has become particularly infamous among those interested in the hotel's ghostly history. Multiple guests have described waking in the middle of the night to find a figure standing silently by the foot of the bed. The figure is typically described as wearing period attire, often resembling the fashion of the late 1800s or early 1900s, with indistinct facial features that vanish when approached. The most common report involves a chilling sensation of being observed, coupled with an overwhelming feeling of unease. Lights, when switched on, often reveal nothing, and the presence vanishes as if it were never there. This repeated phenomenon has cemented Room 303 as a center of paranormal intrigue. Beyond Room 303, other parts of the hotel exhibit unusual activity. Guests have reported objects moving without explanation, from chairs shifting slightly to books falling off shelves. Some witnesses describe cold spots in hallways or rooms, sudden drafts, or doors opening and closing with no human intervention. The effect is often subtle, like a brush of air or a soft sound, yet persistent enough to unsettle even the most skeptical visitor. Housekeeping staff have occasionally discovered items out of place, or minor disturbances in rooms that were previously secured. The hotel's long history provides fertile ground for speculation about these hauntings. The Omni Parker House has been a backdrop to significant historical events and has hosted a remarkable array of influential figures, including writers like Charles Dickens and Ralph Waldo Emerson. Such a rich accumulation of human presence, emotion, and memory has led some researchers to theorize that the hotel is a kind of psychic repository, where intense experiences leave lasting impressions on the environment. According to this view, the spirits or echoes that guests encounter may be residual, playing out scenes from the past repeatedly, or they may be more active, interacting with current occupants in ways that are subtle or startling. Paranormal investigators visiting the hotel have documented unusual occurrences, particularly in the hallways and rooms with a history of activity. EMF readings often spike in areas where witnesses have reported apparitions, and some investigators have captured faint electronic voice phenomena, EVPs, that correspond to the voices described by guests. Shadowy forms have occasionally been recorded on camera, moving across corridors or appearing near beds, only to vanish moments later. Some believe that these manifestations are the lingering presence of hotel staff, patrons, or notable historical figures, while others argue that the energy is more abstract, tied to the hotel itself rather than any individual. Room 303 continues to attract attention from both skeptics and believers. Some guests actively seek the room, hoping for a glimpse of the spectral figure, while others request alternate accommodations after hearing of its reputation. Reports consistently describe a combination of visual and sensory experiences. The sense of being watched, sudden drops in temperature, and a faint aroma reminiscent of perfumes or colognes from the late 19th century. Witnesses often feel an emotional weight, an almost tangible tension in the room, as though the presence has a personality or intent, observing, assessing, or communicating in ways imperceptible to modern senses. Despite the paranormal activity, the Omni Parker House remains a functioning, celebrated hotel. combining its haunted reputation with the elegance and hospitality expected of a historic landmark. Guests continue to enjoy its refined atmosphere, dining, and connection to Boston's rich history, while also navigating the eerie allure of unexplained phenomena. For some, the encounters are thrilling, offering a direct link to the city's past and the possibility of witnessing something beyond the ordinary. Others report experiences that are genuinely unsettling, leading to sleepless nights or a deep impression of having brushed against the unknown. The recurring theme of voices, moving objects, and the haunting presence in room 303 contributes to the hotel's enduring reputation. Visitors frequently share stories of whispering, the sensation of invisible hands, and fleeting figures glimpsed in mirrors or through the corner of an eye. Many paranormal enthusiasts believe the hotel is a rare location where the energy of its past is concentrated and perceptible to the living. Others see it as a place where history and memory converge, leaving traces in the physical world that resist explanation. The Omni Parker House exemplifies the intersection of history, luxury, and the supernatural. From the ghostly recitations of poetry to the cold, empty corridors where shadows flit and doors move independently, the hotel is alive with stories that span generations. Room 303, in particular, stands as a chilling testament to the persistence of the past. A place where guests continue to report seeing figures that vanish at the flick of a light switch, leaving only the echo of their presence. Visitors, staff, and paranormal investigators alike continue to experience and document these phenomena, ensuring that the Omni Parker House remains both a landmark of Boston's history and a beacon for those drawn to the mystery of the haunted. The Stanley Hotel in Estes Park, Colorado, is a striking landmark, both for its grand architecture and its reputation as one of the most haunted hotels in the United States. Built in 1909 by Freeland Oscar Stanley, the inventor and entrepreneur best known for the Stanley Steamer automobile, the hotel quickly became a luxurious retreat for travelers seeking the beauty of the Rocky Mountains. Yet beyond its opulent interiors and scenic vistas, the Stanley has long been associated with paranormal activity, drawing visitors fascinated by both history and the supernatural. Its connection to Stephen King, who cited the hotel as the inspiration for The Shining, only adds to its allure. Though the stories of unexplained phenomena began long before the famous novel, perhaps the most infamous room in the hotel is room 217, which has become legendary among both guests and paranormal investigators. Visitors to this room report sudden cold spots that seem to settle in specific areas, a chilling draft that cannot be explained by the building's heating system or the mountain air outside. Shadows have been observed moving across the walls, often just at the edge of vision, disappearing whenever guests attempt to look directly at them. Many also describe hearing faint footsteps in the hallway, though no one is present, or sensing a presence hovering near the bed during the night. Some guests wake to find their belongings subtly shifted, as if handled by invisible hands, while others speak of a feeling of being watched, a sensation so intense it disrupts sleep and leaves a lingering unease long after checking out. Beyond room 217, the hotel is filled with reports of strange occurrences that have persisted for decades. The grand piano in the lobby is said to play by itself at night. Guests and staff alike have described hearing soft melodies, often classical or early 20th century tunes, emanating from the instrument even when no one is nearby. The sound is sometimes accompanied by the faint aroma of cigarette smoke or perfume, conjuring the presence of past visitors. Doors throughout the hotel frequently creak open or close without cause, and lights have been reported flickering inexplicably in empty hallways. In certain areas, witnesses have experienced sudden drops in temperature, chills that move across the room, and the sensation of being touched by unseen hands. Paranormal investigators visiting the Stanley Hotel have documented a range of unusual activity. EMF readings often spike in rooms with a history of reported phenomena, particularly room 217, and audio recordings sometimes capture faint voices or footsteps that cannot be attributed to guests or staff. Shadowy forms have been captured on security cameras, moving quickly across corridors or disappearing entirely when approached. Some investigators suggest that the hotel serves as a focal point for residual energy, where intense human emotion and activity from decades past continue to imprint on the physical space. Others argue that intelligent entities may still linger, interacting subtly with guests in ways that are sometimes helpful, sometimes unsettling. Guests of the Stanley Hotel often report personal encounters that range from subtle to terrifying. Some describe hearing conversations in empty rooms, whispers that call their name or issue vague warnings. Others recount seeing figures dressed in period clothing walking down hallways, vanishing as quickly as they appear. Some visitors have even reported interactions with these apparitions, a hand gently brushing against theirs, a shadow pausing at the doorway, or a fleeting glance from a figure standing at the foot of the bed. While many accounts remain anecdotal, the consistency of reports across decades adds to the hotel's reputation as a site of genuine paranormal activity. The hotel's history provides a rich backdrop for these phenomena. The Stanley Hotel hosted a mix of wealthy vacationers, artists, and writers, each leaving a trace of their presence. During its early years, the hotel employed a full staff of cooks, bellhops, and housekeepers, many of whom worked long hours under strict supervision. It is believed that some of the residual energy of these workers, along with that of the guests, contributes to the spectral activity reported today. The juxtaposition of luxury and labor, joy and stress, may have created an environment where emotional energy became imprinted on the structure, manifesting as ghostly sounds, fleeting shadows, and inexplicable movements. Room 217 continues to attract those willing to face the unknown. Guests who stay there are often warned of the room's history and encouraged to approach it with respect. Despite the chilling reports, many visitors seek the thrill of encountering the unexplained firsthand. Some leave offerings, such as small tokens or notes, while others simply document their experiences in journals or photographs. Many report that even brief stays leave a strong impression, a feeling of having brushed against something beyond ordinary perception. Beyond individual rooms, the hallways and common areas of the Stanley Hotel are also alive with stories. Guests have reported seeing lights flicker at night, hearing soft footsteps echo along marble floors, and sensing presences in areas that appear completely deserted. The hotel's vast corridors and sweeping staircases offer the perfect backdrop for these phenomena, amplifying shadows and creating an atmosphere where imagination and reality intertwine. Even staff members have acknowledged experiences that cannot be easily explained. Items moving on their own, strange sounds in the middle of the night, and inexplicable feelings of dread or anticipation. The combination of history, architecture, and reported paranormal activity makes the Stanley Hotel a unique destination for visitors. It is a place where the past seems to coexist with the present, and where echoes of former guests and employees linger in subtle, sometimes startling ways. From the mysterious piano music and shadowy figures in hallways to the chilling experiences of Room 217, the Stanley offers a tangible connection to a bygone era and an encounter with the unexplained. Whether one approaches it as a historic hotel, a tourist attraction, or a haunted landmark, the Stanley Hotel continues to capture imaginations, offering a rare glimpse into the intersection of human experience, memory, and the lingering presence of the unknown. The Stanley Hotel stands as a testament to the idea that places can hold more than memories they can hold echoes of the past that interact with the present. Guests, staff, and paranormal investigators alike continue to share stories of fleeting shadows, ghostly footsteps, and rooms imbued with strange energy, ensuring that the hotel's haunted legacy endures. In Estes Park, Colorado, the Stanley Hotel is not just a place to stay, it is a destination where history, luxury, and the supernatural converge in ways that continue to fascinate and terrify. The Queen Mary, permanently docked in Long Beach, California, is more than just a grand ocean liner turned hotel and tourist attraction. Since her maiden voyage in the 1930s, she has been steeped in history, from luxury transatlantic cruises to serving as a troop ship during World War II. Yet beyond her remarkable past and opulent design, the Queen Mary is widely recognized as one of the most haunted ships in the world. Guests and staff alike have reported a wide range of unexplained phenomena, making the vessel a magnet for paranormal enthusiasts and curious visitors alike. The ship's eerie reputation is bolstered by decades of ghost stories, unexplained sightings, and chilling encounters that continue to captivate the public imagination. Among the most reported paranormal activities are doors opening and closing by themselves, often in hallways or rooms that are supposed to be empty. Guests have described walking down narrow corridors late at night, only to hear the heavy doors of cabins swinging shut or opening without anyone in sight. The sound of creaking hinges and sudden gusts of air often accompany these movements, giving the impression that unseen hands are at work. Many visitors have experienced an unsettling feeling of being watched as they move through these corridors, adding to the ship's atmosphere of suspense and mystery. Another commonly reported phenomenon involves mirrors. Guests frequently recount seeing faint, shadowy faces reflected in mirrors, only for them to disappear when they turn to look directly. Sometimes, these apparitions appear to be women in period clothing, reminiscent of the Queen Mary's early years as a luxury liner. Other times, the faces are less defined, forming vague shapes or fleeting expressions that vanish as quickly as they appeared. Staff members have corroborated some of these experiences, particularly in areas of the ship that were once crew quarters or officer cabins. Paranormal investigators suggest that mirrors often serve as focal points for residual energy, capturing moments of intense emotion or distress from the ship's long history. One of the most haunting aspects of the Queen Mary is the presence of children's laughter in areas that are otherwise empty. Guests have reported hearing giggles and playful footsteps echoing along deserted hallways, particularly near cabins that were used as nursery spaces in the past. These sounds are often disorienting, appearing to come from multiple directions at once and vanishing when investigated. Some visitors claim to have seen small, shadowy figures darting just out of sight, reinforcing the impression that the ship is still haunted by its young passengers from decades ago. The ship's storied past contributes significantly to its haunted reputation. During World War II, the Queen Mary was transformed into a troop ship, transporting thousands of soldiers across the Atlantic. The ship also experienced tragic accidents, including collisions, onboard fires, and drownings, which may have left a lingering imprint on the vessel. Many paranormal enthusiasts believe that these intense emotional events created residual energy, manifesting in the form of ghostly apparitions and unexplained sounds that continue to affect modern visitors. The combination of luxury and tragedy seems to have created an environment where the boundary between the living and the spectral is thin, allowing past events to echo into the present. Paranormal investigators conducting tours of the Queen Mary have documented a wide range of unusual phenomena. Thermal imaging often reveals cold spots in cabins and hallways with high activity, and EMF meters frequently spike without a clear source. Audio recordings sometimes capture faint voices, footsteps, or knocking sounds in areas believed to be unoccupied. Some investigators report sensations of being touched or watched, with the feeling intensifying in areas associated with historical incidents or shipboard accidents. These experiences, combined with the consistency of guest reports, lend credibility to the ship's haunted reputation and have made it a subject of fascination for researchers and thrill-seekers alike. The Queen Mary's paranormal activity is not limited to a single location. Crew quarters, engine rooms, first-class cabins, and even the ship's promenade deck have all been cited as sites of unexplained occurrences. Guests often describe sudden drops in temperature, fleeting shadows, and objects moving without explanation. Some visitors have even reported seeing apparitions standing silently in corners or gazing from portholes, vanishing when approached. The unpredictability of these events adds to the eerie atmosphere, creating a sense that the ship is alive in some way, imbued with the presence of those who lived, worked, and died aboard her. In addition to spontaneous encounters, the Queen Mary offers paranormal tours designed to highlight her ghostly reputation. These tours guide visitors through the ship's most haunted areas, including the first-class swimming pool, engine room, and crew quarters. Tour guides often share stories of ghostly sightings, mysterious sounds, and historical tragedies, enhancing the experience with context and detail. Many participants report experiencing chills, sudden noises, or visual phenomena during these tours, reinforcing the belief that the ship is indeed haunted. For some, the tours provide an opportunity to witness the unexplained firsthand, while for others, they offer a thrilling glimpse into the ship's mysterious past. Despite its eerie reputation, the Queen Mary continues to operate as a hotel and tourist destination. Guests are often drawn not only by the ship's luxurious accommodations and historical significance, but also by the promise of encountering the supernatural. Whether it is the feeling of a cold presence in a hallway, the sight of a shadowy figure reflected in a mirror, or the sound of a child's laughter in an empty room, the ship offers experiences that are both unsettling and unforgettable. Many visitors leave with stories of personal encounters that reinforce the Queen Mary's place as one of the most haunted and intriguing destinations in the United States. The Queen Mary remains a compelling blend of history, luxury, and paranormal intrigue. From doors moving on their own and faces appearing in mirrors to the laughter of unseen children echoing through empty halls, the ship is filled with stories of the unexplained. Whether experienced during a casual visit, an overnight stay, or a guided paranormal tour, the Queen Mary offers an enduring connection to a past that refuses to remain silent, ensuring that her haunted legacy continues to captivate and terrify all who step aboard. The Crescent Hotel in Eureka Springs, Arkansas, stands as a striking example of Victorian elegance, perched high on a hill with sweeping views of the surrounding Ozark Mountains. Its stunning architecture, grand turrets, and historic charm have made it a popular destination for tourists and history enthusiasts alike. Yet beyond its opulent appearance and storied past, the Crescent Hotel has earned a reputation as one of the most haunted hotels in the United States. For decades, guests, staff, and paranormal investigators have reported experiences that defy explanation, ranging from shadowy figures and cold spots to moving objects and eerie sounds echoing through its halls. Among the most infamous hauntings are the experiences in the hotel's guest rooms. Visitors frequently report seeing figures walking past their doors or glimpsing apparitions in the corners of their rooms. These figures often appear in 19th century attire, sometimes faint and shadow-like, other times more solid and defined. Guests describe a feeling of being watched, as if the figures are aware of their presence, yet remain silent and distant. Many report waking to find beds shaken, as though an unseen force has passed through the room, blankets disturbed, or even personal belongings inexplicably moved. The sensation of sudden, inexplicable chills is a common experience, often accompanied by an overwhelming sense of unease or dread. One of the most chilling stories associated with the Crescent Hotel involves a guest who woke in the middle of the night to see a ghostly woman seated in the corner of his room. Her eyes seemed to plead silently, conveying an emotion that was both sorrowful and desperate. As he blinked and turned to focus, the figure gradually vanished, leaving behind a lingering coldness and the faint impression of her presence. Stories like this have become part of the hotel's mystique, shared by visitors who feel they have glimpsed a window into the hotel's dark past. The origins of the Crescent Hotel's hauntings are deeply rooted in its history. Opened in 1886, the hotel was originally intended as a luxury resort, attracting wealthy guests to the scenic beauty of Eureka Springs. However, financial difficulties and a series of ownership changes marked its early years. Patients suffered greatly, and many died within its walls. Historians believe that the suffering and unrest experienced during this period left an indelible mark on the hotel, creating a lingering energy that some now interpret as paranormal activity. The blend of luxury, tragedy, and human suffering has created an environment where the line between the living and the dead seems thin, allowing echoes of the past to reach into the present. Paranormal investigators visiting the Crescent Hotel have documented a variety of phenomena. Electronic equipment often records unexplained spikes in electromagnetic fields, particularly in rooms and hallways associated with reported sightings. Temperature readings frequently drop sharply, producing sudden cold spots that guests and investigators alike describe as chilling to the bone. Audio recordings have captured unexplained knocks, footsteps, and distant voices, sometimes in languages that seem archaic or indecipherable. Some investigators have even reported objects moving on their own, doors creaking or slamming, and the sensation of being touched by invisible hands. These findings reinforce the stories of guests, adding credibility to the hotel's reputation as a hotbed of paranormal activity. Certain rooms in the Crescent Hotel are particularly notorious. Room 218 and Room 419, for example, have consistently been the sites of ghostly encounters. Visitors staying in these rooms often report the sensation of unseen presences, objects shifting on their own, and temperatures dropping suddenly. Shadows have been observed moving across walls and ceilings, and in some cases, guests have claimed to hear whispers or faint cries that disappear when approached. The recurrence of activity in specific rooms has led paranormal enthusiasts to believe that certain areas of the hotel may serve as focal points for residual energy, retaining echoes of past events and emotions. The hotel also hosts paranormal tours, designed to share its haunted history with the public. Guides lead visitors through hallways, guest rooms, and public areas, recounting tales of past patients, tragic deaths, and reported ghost sightings. Many participants report experiencing sudden chills, seeing shadows, or sensing presences during these tours. The tours provide both context and first-hand experiences, allowing guests to connect the historical events of the hotel with the reported supernatural activity. For some, it is a thrilling adventure into the unknown. For others, it is a deeply unsettling encounter with the lingering spirits of the past. In addition to guest experiences and guided tours, the Crescent Hotel has been the focus of numerous paranormal investigations, both professional and amateur. Investigators have reported doors opening and closing without cause, unexplained voices, and apparitions captured on video or in photographs. Some have claimed to witness full-bodied figures walking through hallways, disappearing into walls, or fading into the shadows. Others have experienced cold drafts, feelings of sudden dread, or the sense of being watched, even in empty rooms. These consistent reports contribute to the hotel's mystique and reinforce its status as a premier destination for those fascinated by the paranormal. The Crescent Hotel's combination of architectural elegance, historical significance, and supernatural activity ensures its enduring appeal. From shadowy figures gliding past guest rooms to cold spots, whispered voices, and unexplained movements, the hotel offers experiences that challenge rational explanation. Visitors leave with stories of their own, recounting moments that are as chilling as they are unforgettable. The Crescent Hotel continues to captivate the imagination, offering a rare opportunity to experience history intertwined with the unexplained. It remains a place where the past refuses to rest quietly, and the living are invited to witness the echoes of lives long gone. The Hotel Monte Vista in Flagstaff, Arizona, is a landmark of southwestern history and hospitality, known for its striking architecture, rich past, and a legacy that extends far beyond traditional hospitality. Built in 1927, the hotel has hosted countless travelers, celebrities, and adventurers. Yet it has gained fame for something less tangible than its luxurious accommodations. Its paranormal activity, stories of ghosts, mysterious phenomena, and unexplained occurrences have circulated for decades, earning the Hotel Monte Vista a reputation as one of the most haunted hotels in the United States. Among the hotel's many rooms, Room 305 is perhaps the most infamous. Guests who have stayed in this room report a consistent pattern of eerie phenomena. Many describe sudden cold drafts that seem to come from nowhere, chilling them even when the windows are tightly closed and the heater is running. Some visitors speak of whispering voices that cannot be traced to any source, often heard in the middle of the night when the hotel is otherwise quiet. These voices have been described as soft and unintelligible at first, sometimes escalating to urgent whispers or even silent screams. The experience leaves guests feeling watched, unsettled, and acutely aware of the room's mysterious atmosphere. A recurring apparition in room 305 adds to the room's notoriety. Several guests claim to have seen the figure of a woman standing by the window. She is often described in period clothing, her presence simultaneously ethereal and commanding. Some witnesses recall her smiling serenely, as though acknowledging their presence in a strangely comforting manner. Others, however, recount terrifying encounters in which her face contorts into an expression of silent agony or screams that cannot be heard aloud. Guests report a palpable shift in temperature when she appears, a sensation of cold that seems to reach through the very walls of the room. The Hotel Monte Vista is also known for unexplained movements of furniture and objects. Guests have reported chairs sliding across the floor, tables shifting slightly, or personal belongings being moved overnight. In some cases, these disturbances are accompanied by knocking or tapping sounds that seem to follow the rhythm of unseen footsteps. Paranormal investigators visiting the hotel have documented such occurrences repeatedly, noting that the activity is not random but often focused in specific areas, particularly around room 305 and its immediate corridor. Electronic equipment has picked up unexplained electromagnetic fluctuations, reinforcing the claims of unusual energy present in the building. The history of the hotel may offer insight into its paranormal reputation. Constructed during a period of rapid growth in Flagstaff, the hotel has witnessed decades of human activity, both joyful and tragic. Over the years, it has hosted travelers seeking work, adventure, or escape, and countless stories of personal hardship, illness, and sudden death have emerged from its halls. Some researchers speculate that these intense human experiences have left an imprint on the hotel, creating a residual energy that manifests as ghosts or paranormal activity. The stories surrounding room 305 are particularly vivid, suggesting that the room may serve as a focal point for these lingering energies. Many guests have shared personal encounters that defy rational explanation. One traveler reported waking in the middle of the night to find her bedclothes pulled tight, as though someone had adjusted them. As she turned toward the window, she saw the silhouette of a woman standing there, staring out into the darkness. Though the woman did not move, her presence was undeniable, and the visitor described a sense of being observed and judged. Another guest recalled feeling an oppressive weight in the room, as though an unseen force was pressing down on him, accompanied by the sound of soft laughter emanating from nowhere. These encounters have been documented in hotel logs and by paranormal enthusiasts visiting the site, contributing to the growing legend. Paranormal investigators have conducted numerous studies at the Monte Vista, employing tools such as EMF meters, infrared cameras, and audio recorders. Many have captured anomalies, including unexplained shadows, temperature drops, and audio recordings of faint whispers and footsteps. Some investigations suggest intelligent activity, as objects appear to move with deliberate purpose rather than randomly. The consistent reports from both guests and professionals suggest that the phenomena are not merely coincidental but may reflect a true paranormal presence. Beyond room 305, other areas of the hotel also exhibit strange activity. Hallways are said to echo with phantom footsteps, even when no one is present. Guests have reported fleeting shadows crossing the lobby, or reflections in mirrors that do not match their own movements. The hotel's exterior also contributes to its mystique. Nighttime travelers occasionally report seeing figures at the windows or wandering the grounds, only to disappear when approached. Local lore attributes these sightings to former guests, staff, or unknown entities lingering long after their time. The Monte Vista embraces its haunted reputation, offering ghost tours that allow visitors to explore the hotel's darker history. Guides recount stories of room 305 and other haunted areas, sharing first-hand accounts from guests and staff. Participants often experience sudden chills, hear faint whispers, or sense unseen presences while walking the halls. Some even report fleeting glimpses of the woman by the window, validating the tales that have circulated for decades. These tours provide a unique opportunity to witness the hotel's supernatural activity firsthand, blending historical context with eerie, real-world experiences. Whether it is the cold drafts, whispering voices, moving furniture, or the ghostly apparition of the woman in room 305, the Hotel Monte Vista continues to fascinate and terrify visitors. Its combination of historical significance, architectural beauty, and persistent paranormal activity ensures that it remains a destination for those intrigued by the unexplained. For many, a stay at the Monte Vista offers more than just lodging. It's an encounter with the unknown, a chance to witness the lingering spirits of the past and experience the chilling, enduring legacy of one of Arizona's most haunted hotels. The Whitney Hotel in Niagara Falls, New York, stands as a historic landmark, known for its Victorian charm, grand architecture, and, more intriguingly, its long-standing reputation for paranormal activity. Built during the late 19th century, the hotel has seen generations of travelers seeking the majesty of the nearby falls. Yet many visitors have reported experiences that suggest the Whitney Hotel harbors more than just memories of the past. Over the years, tales of ghostly encounters have grown, cementing its status as one of the most haunted hotels in the region. Guests staying in the Whitney often recount hearing phantom footsteps echoing through the hallways. These sounds are not subtle. They are described as rapid, deliberate steps running along corridors, stopping abruptly, or moving from one end of a hallway to another in a matter of seconds. Many guests awake in the dead of night, only to find the corridors empty when they investigate. The footsteps, however, persist in subsequent nights, creating an eerie and unsettling environment. Housekeeping staff have occasionally noted items slightly shifted or doors slightly ajar, adding credibility to these reports of unseen activity. Locked doors seem to be particularly susceptible to the hotel's spectral presence. Numerous accounts tell of keys turning in locks without anyone holding them. Guests have entered their rooms to find the door ajar, despite having locked it, or the key turning on its own when no one is nearby. Such incidents often coincide with other phenomena, including sudden temperature drops, unexplained drafts, or flickering lights, reinforcing the idea that the hotel's spirits are both playful and unpredictable. Mirrors in the Whitney Hotel also serve as windows to the supernatural. Many visitors report seeing figures reflected in mirrors, figures that vanish when they turn around. Some have caught fleeting glimpses of shadowy silhouettes standing behind them or at the edge of their vision, only to find the room empty upon inspection. One particularly striking incident involved a traveler photographing the hallway at night, capturing a shadow moving across the wall. In the image, the shadow appears fluid, almost alive, despite the hallway being completely vacant at the time. This photograph has circulated among paranormal enthusiasts, further fueling the hotel's reputation for ghostly activity. Staff members have their own stories of unexplained encounters. Several hotel employees recount feeling sudden chills in certain rooms or hallways, hearing whispers that cannot be traced to any human source, and seeing lights flicker without electrical cause. These phenomena are often most pronounced in the upper floors and older sections of the building, areas that retain the original structure from the hotel's early years. Longtime staff speak of a presence that seems aware of those around it, observing silently and occasionally interacting through subtle, sometimes startling, manifestations. The history of the Whitney Hotel may offer insight into its haunting. Constructed during a period of rapid development in Niagara Falls, the hotel has been a witness to countless human stories, both joyful and tragic. The falls themselves have long drawn visitors, and the hotel has provided accommodations for those seeking leisure, romance, or adventure. In the course of its long existence, the Whitney has experienced accidents, illnesses, and sudden deaths, some of which occurred within its walls. Paranormal researchers suggest that such intense human experiences may leave residual energy, lingering long after the individuals have passed, creating an environment where spirits can interact with the living. Several paranormal investigations have been conducted at the Whitney Hotel, using equipment such as electromagnetic field meters, infrared cameras, and audio recorders. Investigators have documented unexplained shadows, temperature fluctuations, and audio anomalies, including whispers and footsteps with no identifiable source. Some recordings captured voices that seemed to respond to investigators' questions, suggesting the presence of intelligent activity rather than mere residual echoes. These investigations lend further credibility to the numerous eyewitness accounts, indicating that the hotel's paranormal reputation is not solely the product of imagination. Guests who have stayed in the Whitney often describe a mix of fear and fascination. Some report feeling watched, a sensation that accompanies them from room to hallway, while others have shared experiences of doors opening and closing, chairs moving slightly, or fleeting glimpses of a figure at the edge of their vision. These encounters are not limited to a single area, but occur throughout the hotel, with a notable concentration around the upper floors and long hallways that retain their original wooden floors and ornate moldings. The combination of architectural elegance and unexplained phenomena creates an atmosphere both beautiful and unsettling. Despite, or perhaps because of its haunted reputation, the Whitney Hotel has embraced the stories as part of its charm. Paranormal tours are offered to guests interested in exploring the hotel's darker history, providing first-hand accounts, historical context, and guided exploration of the most active areas. During these tours, participants have reported sudden chills, faint whispers, or brief sightings of shadowy forms, adding to the immersive experience. The tours highlight the hotel's dual identity as both a luxurious lodging and a site of enduring mystery, attracting travelers who seek not only comfort but also a brush with the unknown. The Whitney Hotel continues to intrigue, frighten, and captivate visitors with its spectral legacy. From phantom footsteps to keys turning on their own and shadows moving across walls, the hotel maintains a strong presence in the realm of paranormal activity. Whether one experiences a fleeting chill, hears unexplained whispers, or glimpses a figure in the mirror, the Whitney Hotel offers a chilling glimpse into the world of the unexplained. Its combination of history, architectural beauty, and persistent hauntings ensures that it remains a destination for those fascinated by ghosts, mystery, and the lingering presence of the past. The Brown Palace Hotel in Denver, Colorado, is an iconic establishment with a storied history dating back to 1892. Known for its elegant architecture, luxurious accommodations, and central location, the hotel has welcomed countless travelers over the decades. Yet beneath the grandeur and sophistication lies a reputation that attracts more than just leisure seekers. The Brown Palace is widely regarded as one of the most haunted hotels in the United States. Guests and staff alike have reported experiences that defy explanation, from whispering voices to moving objects, and from flickering lights to fleeting shadowy figures, making the hotel a magnet for paranormal enthusiasts and thrill seekers. Among the most infamous rooms in the hotel is room 606. Numerous guests who have stayed in this room describe incidents of poltergeist activity that range from unsettling to terrifying. One common report involves the lights flickering inexplicably, as if reacting to the presence of an unseen entity. Guests have recounted waking in the middle of the night to find the bedsheets tugged at them, a sensation as if something invisible were trying to move or manipulate their surroundings. Many describe a feeling of being watched, a sense that the room itself is alive with unseen attention. These phenomena often coincide with sudden drops in temperature, cold spots that seem to follow the occupants as they move about the room. Voices calling out names are another recurring experience reported by guests at the Brown Palace. These are not vague sounds or background noise. Many have insisted they heard their own names spoken clearly, sometimes with urgency or in a tone meant to startle. Guests have described turning to see no one there, only to catch a shadow darting from corner to corner, vanishing before it can be fully seen. Some visitors report faint whispers that carry over the silence of the hotel at night, speaking in phrases that are just barely intelligible, often echoing in the hallways outside their rooms. These auditory experiences, combined with physical manifestations, such as moving objects, contribute to the hotel's reputation as a place where the boundary between the living and the supernatural is thin. Staff members have corroborated many of these reports, adding credibility to the claims of haunting. Housekeeping personnel have found furniture slightly moved from its usual position, doors opening and closing without human intervention, and occasional sounds of footsteps in hallways that are otherwise deserted. Maintenance teams have observed electrical systems behaving unpredictably, with lights switching on and off or appliances activating without explanation. These occurrences are especially prevalent in the upper floors and older sections of the hotel, areas that retain much of the building's original character and structure. Longtime employees often speak of a presence that seems conscious, one that responds subtly to the activity of guests and staff alike. The history of the Brown Palace Hotel may provide insight into its paranormal activity, built during a period of rapid growth in Denver. The hotel has witnessed generations of travelers, business people, and socialites passing through its halls. Over the decades, it has been the site of celebrations, tragedies, and personal dramas. Some guests have tragically passed away in the hotel, while others experienced accidents or misfortunes within its walls. Paranormal researchers suggest that such intense human experiences may leave an imprint on the environment, a residual energy that continues to influence the living. Room 66, in particular, has been the scene of numerous unsettling occurrences, suggesting a focal point where energy may be concentrated. Paranormal investigations at the Brown Palace Hotel have yielded compelling, if inconclusive, evidence. Using electromagnetic field meters, infrared cameras, and audio recorders, investigators have documented temperature fluctuations, unexplained shadows, and voices captured on tape. Other observations include lights flickering in synchronization with reported activity and objects moving with no apparent cause. These findings, combined with decades of eyewitness accounts, contribute to a strong case for the hotel's paranormal reputation. Visitors to the Brown Palace often describe a mixture of fear and fascination during their stays. Some report feelings of being watched or followed, a presence that lingers even when the room appears empty. Others have experienced objects shifting or lights flickering, intensifying the sense of unease. Many encounters are fleeting shadows disappearing around corners, a cold breeze brushing against a skin butt. Others are more interactive, such as the tugging of bedsheets or hearing one's name whispered in the dark. These experiences have become part of the hotel's allure, drawing curious travelers, ghost hunters, and paranormal enthusiasts eager to explore the unknown. The Brown Palace has embraced its haunted reputation, offering tours that highlight its supernatural history alongside its architectural and cultural significance. Guests who participate in these tours often report heightened activity, experiencing the cold drafts, fleeting shadows, and whispers described by previous visitors. The tours provide context, historical background, and first-hand accounts, allowing participants to engage directly with the hotel's spectral lore. The combination of elegance, history, and paranormal intrigue makes the Brown Palace a destination where luxury and the supernatural coexist, offering both comfort and chills in equal measure. Whether one experiences a fleeting shadow, hears a whispered name, or feels the tug of unseen hands on the bed, the Brown Palace Hotel remains a place where the past lingers and the supernatural seems ever present. Its long history, repeated reports of ghostly activity, and persistent legends ensure that it continues to captivate the imagination of visitors from around the world. Room 606, in particular, stands as a testament to the hotel's mysterious and haunting legacy, a space where stories of the unknown continue to unfold. The Brown Palace is more than a hotel. It is a living museum of history, elegance, and the unexplained, offering a chilling encounter with the unseen forces that may still walk its halls. The Heathman Hotel in Portland, Oregon, is renowned for its luxury, elegance, and central location in the bustling downtown district. Its grand lobby, polished wood accents, and rich history attract visitors from around the world. However, beyond the hotel's charm and sophistication lies a reputation that is both mysterious and unsettling. Guests and staff alike have reported a series of supernatural occurrences that have earned the Heathman a place on Portland's list of haunted locations. Cold spots, moving shadows, and unexplained noises have become a common thread in the stories shared by those who have spent time within its walls, creating an air of intrigue and dread that persists alongside the hotel's historic allure. One of the most frequently reported phenomena at the Heathman is the sudden appearance of cold spots in otherwise warm and comfortable rooms and hallways. Guests have described walking through a corridor only to feel a sudden drop in temperature, often accompanied by a sense of being watched. These cold spots appear and disappear without explanation, creating a palpable tension for those staying on the upper floors or in the older sections of the building. Visitors have noted that the sensation is often accompanied by a feeling of dread, as if an unseen presence is observing their every move. Some have reported hurrying down the hall in hopes of leaving the chilling area, only to find the cold patch seemingly following them for several steps. Doors behaving independently is another hallmark of the Heathman's supernatural reputation. Guests have recounted doors opening and closing by themselves, often when no one is near. In some cases, room doors are found slightly ajar in the morning, despite being securely locked the night before. Elevator doors, in particular, have been the setting for eerie sightings. One guest described a dark figure standing just beside the elevator, moving silently and with purpose. As soon as the elevator doors slid open, the figure vanished, leaving no trace and a lingering sense of unease. Such encounters leave an impression that the hotel itself is aware of the people moving through its halls, interacting with them in ways that defy logic or explanation. Shadowy figures are a common theme in reports from visitors to the Heathman Hotel. These figures often appear at the end of hallways or in the corners of rooms, vanishing when approached or illuminated by a flashlight. Guests have described watching a shadow move along a corridor, only to find it disappearing as they attempt to get a closer look. Some claim to have seen silhouettes resembling human forms, standing motionless and watching from a distance. Others describe fleeting glimpses of figures dressed in period attire, suggesting connections to the hotel's historic past. These visual encounters, coupled with the cold spots and moving doors, create an immersive experience of the supernatural that can be as unsettling as it is compelling. Staff members have also encountered unexplained phenomena, lending credibility to guest reports. Housekeeping personnel frequently note objects slightly displaced, room keys moving inexplicably, and the sensation of being observed, even in the absence of guests. Security and maintenance teams have recorded incidents of lights flickering without electrical cause, elevators stopping on floors with no call button activated, and doors that refuse to lock properly until some time has passed. Longtime employees often speak of a presence that seems protective in some instances, but watchful and threatening in others. These encounters suggest that the phenomena at the Heathman are not merely random, but may be tied to a consciousness lingering within the hotel. The history of the Heathman Hotel may provide insight into its hauntings. Established in the early 20th century, the hotel has witnessed generations of travelers, business people, and social events, as well as personal tragedies. Over the years, some guests have passed away in the hotel, while others have experienced accidents or sudden misfortunes on the premises. Paranormal experts suggest that such intense emotional energy may leave a lasting imprint, creating residual phenomena that continue to affect the living. This could help explain why certain rooms and corridors are hotspots for strange activity. With room 411 and the fifth-floor hallway being among the most reported areas, paranormal investigations at the Heathman Hotel have yielded compelling evidence, though much remains anecdotal. Researchers using electromagnetic field detectors, thermal cameras, and audio recorders have captured unexplained fluctuations in temperature, shadows moving without a source, and faint whispers that respond to questions asked aloud. One investigator reported seeing a figure in the reflection of a mirror, even though no one else was present in the room. Others have experienced sudden feelings of dread or nausea when approaching certain areas, suggesting that the phenomena extend beyond simple visual or auditory encounters. These findings have made the Heathman a popular destination for ghost hunters and curious visitors alike. Guest experiences at the Heathman Hotel are varied, yet consistently eerie. Some describe fleeting sensations of touch, as if someone or something brushes past them in the hallways. Others report hearing soft footsteps following them up the stairs or across empty corridors. The combination of cold spots, moving shadows, and the occasional sighting of an indistinct figure creates an atmosphere of suspense that lingers long after visitors check out. Many guests leave with a sense of having experienced something beyond explanation, a brush with the unexplained that stays with them as a vivid memory. Despite, or perhaps because of its haunted reputation, the Heathman Hotel remains a sought-after destination for travelers. Its combination of historic charm, modern amenities, and the allure of the supernatural offers a unique experience. Some visitors actively seek encounters with the unknown, hoping to glimpse a shadowy figure or feel a sudden chill, while others simply become unwitting witnesses to the hotel's mysterious presence. Either way, the Heathman continues to maintain its status as one of Portland's most fascinating and enigmatic landmarks. Whether it is the cold spots, the doors that move without explanation, or the figures glimpsed at the end of hallways, the Heathman Hotel offers a chilling glimpse into the unseen. Guests leave with stories that range from unsettling to terrifying, each encounter adding to the growing legend of this historic Portland landmark. The hotel stands as a reminder that history, memory, and perhaps something more supernatural linger in the spaces we inhabit, waiting to be noticed. The Pfister Hotel in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, stands as a beacon of elegance, history, and architectural grandeur, but behind its luxurious facade lies a reputation that has intrigued locals and visitors alike for decades. Opened in 1893, the Pfister has witnessed over a century of events, hosting celebrities, politicians, and travelers from across the globe. Yet, alongside its storied past, numerous guests and staff have reported inexplicable phenomena, suggesting that the hotel's history is not only preserved in its architecture, but also in something far more enigmatic and enduring. Paranormal activity at the Pfister has become the subject of fascination for ghost enthusiasts, with stories ranging from shifting paintings to shadowy figures lurking near the grand staircase. One of the most frequently reported phenomena involves the hotel's extensive collection of paintings, which line the halls and lobby. Guests have often reported that the eyes of these portraits seem to follow them as they move through corridors, creating a subtle but unnerving sense of being watched. Visitors have described returning to rooms or hallways to notice slight shifts in the angle of the eyes, as though the subjects of the paintings are reacting to their presence. Some have even claimed to feel a connection, a silent acknowledgement from these painted figures that transcends the ordinary. The movement is never violent or overt, yet the subtlety of the changes makes them all the more disturbing. Footsteps echoing through empty hallways are another commonly reported occurrence. Guests have described walking down the corridors late at night, only to hear the sound of someone trailing them soft steps that mimic their own pace, yet vanish when they stop to investigate. The sounds often appear near the upper floors or along less traveled wings of the hotel, where historic architecture and older design elements create natural acoustics that amplify these unsettling noises. Housekeeping and security personnel have corroborated these accounts, reporting hearing footsteps and voices, even when no guests are present. Perhaps the most iconic and consistently reported apparition at the Pfister is that of a 19th-century gentleman, often seen near the lobby's grand staircase. Guests have described him as well-dressed, with a dark suit, crisp white shirt, and a demeanor that radiates both authority and melancholy. The figure is rarely observed for more than a few moments. As soon as an onlooker approaches, he vanishes into thin air, leaving behind an inexplicable sense of presence. Some claim that he is watching over the hotel, perhaps a remnant of its early days, silently guarding its halls and traditions. Others believe he may be tied to one of the many historical tragedies or pivotal events that occurred within the Pfister's walls, his spirit unable to or unwilling to move on. Voices in empty rooms are another source of unease. Guests report hearing conversations or murmurs when no one else is present. The sounds are often indistinct, with words blending together into an eerie hum. Yet occasionally, listeners swear they can hear their own names spoken. These auditory phenomena frequently coincide with the other paranormal events, such as footsteps or the shifting of paintings, suggesting an interconnectedness that defies explanation. Staff members have noted that some rooms seem to attract more activity than others, with the upper floors and suites that have maintained their original decor being particularly active. Paranormal investigators visiting the hotel have recorded these sounds, sometimes capturing voices on audio devices that do not register on conventional monitoring equipment. The history of the Vista Hotel may provide insight into the origin of these phenomena. Built during a time of economic growth and social transformation, the hotel has been host to countless events, including lavish parties, business dealings, and personal tragedies. Some rooms have seen heartbreak, financial ruin, or sudden deaths, creating intense emotional energy that may linger long after the original occupants have left. Local legends suggest that certain spirits, unable to reconcile their untimely deaths or unfinished business, remain tethered to the hotel, seeking acknowledgement or closure through the experiences of living guests. These stories are not isolated. Generations of visitors and employees have recounted similar incidents, reinforcing the idea that the Vista's hauntings are persistent and deeply embedded. Paranormal investigations conducted at the Vista Hotel have yielded intriguing findings. Researchers using thermal cameras, electromagnetic field detectors, and audio recorders have documented sudden drops in temperature, shadowy figures appearing in video footage, and disembodied voices. Some investigators have reported encountering the figure of the 19th century gentleman themselves, noting a sense of being watched or followed even in the absence of visual confirmation. These professional assessments have added credibility to the numerous anecdotal accounts, establishing the Vista as one of the most well-documented haunted hotels in the Midwest. Guests who encounter these phenomena describe a wide range of experiences. Some speak of feelings of unease or being watched, subtle enough to remain in the back of the mind, yet persistent throughout their stay. Others report more overt manifestations, such as paintings shifting slightly when viewed indirectly, objects moving inexplicably, or the sensation of cold air brushing past them in otherwise warm rooms. The combination of visual, auditory, and tactile phenomena creates an immersive supernatural experience, leaving visitors with stories they share for years after their stay. Despite her, perhaps because of its haunted reputation, the Vista Hotel continues to thrive as a destination for travelers. Its elegant architecture, historic charm, and modern amenities make it a premier location in Milwaukee, while the stories of ghosts and unexplained phenomena add an additional layer of allure. Paranormal tours have become a popular attraction, drawing enthusiasts eager to witness the unexplained firsthand. Guests often leave with memories that combine both luxury and unease, a testament to the hotel's unique atmosphere and enduring mysteries. Whether it is the shifting eyes of the paintings, the footsteps echoing in empty halls, or the presence of the 19th century gentleman near the grand staircase, the Vista Hotel offers a chilling glimpse into the unseen. Visitors leave with stories of shadows, whispers, and fleeting figures, each encounter reinforcing the hotel's reputation as one of Wisconsin's most haunted landmarks. The Vista stands as a testament to history, memory, and the possibility that some spirits remain tied to the places they once inhabited, lingering silently and observing those who dare to enter their domain. The Hotel del Coronado in San Diego, California, stands as an iconic symbol of Victorian elegance, oceanfront luxury, and storied history. But behind its grand architecture and sun-soaked beaches lies a legacy steeped in the unexplained. Opened in 1888, the hotel has welcomed presidents, royalty, and celebrities, each adding to its allure. Yet for many visitors, the Hotel del Coronado is more than a historical landmark or a luxury resort. It is a place where the boundary between the living and the supernatural is thin. a location where whispers, shadows, and cold touches hint at a lingering presence. One of the most famous tales comes from room 307, where guests consistently report experiences that cannot be explained by ordinary causes. Those who stay in the room speak of waking in the dead of night to the sensation of cold hands pressing firmly on their shoulders, accompanied by the unshakable feeling of being observed. Many have described hearing faint whispers, indistinct words that seem just beyond comprehension, as if the unseen presence is trying to communicate but remaining deliberately cryptic. Some have even claimed to see shadowy figures standing near the bed, vanishing the moment they attempt to look directly at them. The combination of tactile, auditory, and visual disturbances has cemented room 307's reputation as one of the most haunted in the United States, drawing paranormal enthusiasts from around the world. Beyond room 307, the hotel itself seems imbued with unexplained phenomena. Visitors have reported hearing the laughter of children echoing down empty hallways, soft and playful at first, then gradually turning eerie and sorrowful. This laughter often occurs late at night or during moments when the hotel is quiet, amplifying its unsettling effect. Guests claim that the sounds sometimes lead them toward old sections of the hotel, including stairwells, balconies, and even the grand ballrooms, before abruptly fading. Staff members have corroborated these accounts, noting that even during periods of low occupancy, the sound of children's laughter occasionally reverberates through the halls with no apparent source. Ghostly figures are another recurring element of the Hotel del Coronado's supernatural lore. Guests and employees alike have seen apparitions watching from windows, sometimes standing still in formal attire, sometimes moving with deliberate grace. These figures are often described as transparent, yet solid enough to cast fleeting shadows or reflect faint light. Some witnesses claim the apparitions appear in areas tied to historical events or previous guests, suggesting a lingering attachment to the hotel itself. The figures have been observed both during the day and at night, sometimes visible in peripheral vision, disappearing when directly confronted. Such sightings contribute to the hotel's aura of mystery and underscore its reputation as a place where history refuses to rest quietly. Bedsheets and other objects moving independently is another hallmark of the hotel's haunting. Guests report covers shifting as if someone unseen is rearranging them, blankets being tugged from the bed, and items on nightstands subtly repositioned. These movements are usually small but precise, enough to provoke unease. In some instances, guests have awoken to find their possessions disturbed, even though they had left the room untouched for hours. Paranormal investigators suggest that these movements may be caused by poltergeist activity, a manifestation of concentrated energy capable of influencing the physical environment without direct human interaction. The phenomenon often occurs alongside other disturbances, such as cold spots, whispers, or flickering lights, creating a layered and immersive haunting experience. The history of the Hotel del Coronado may shed light on the origins of these supernatural events. Constructed during a time of rapid growth in California, the hotel quickly became a hub for high society, attracting wealthy travelers and notable figures. Among these guests, tragedies did occur, including sudden deaths, accidents, and personal heartbreaks. Such intense emotional events are often cited by paranormal researchers as contributing to residual energy, a type of haunting where emotions and experiences leave an imprint on a location. Over time, these residual energies may coalesce into distinct phenomena, particularly in spaces like Room 37, where historical incidents are rumored to have occurred. Paranormal investigations at the Hotel del Coronado have sought to document and understand these events. Using thermal cameras, audio recording devices, and electromagnetic field detectors, researchers have captured unexplained temperature fluctuations, faint whispers, and shadowy movements in various parts of the hotel. Investigators have occasionally reported experiencing the same sensations described by guests, including cold touches on the shoulder and the perception of being watched. Audio recordings have captured isolated voices speaking in soft, indistinct tones, sometimes echoing through empty rooms and hallways. These findings reinforce anecdotal accounts, suggesting that the hotel's haunting is persistent and multifaceted, encompassing auditory, visual, and physical phenomena. Guests who encounter these supernatural elements describe a mixture of fear, awe, and fascination. Some recount feeling a presence that is protective, almost as if the entity is watching over the room or the building itself, while others describe encounters that are actively unsettling, leaving them shaken or sleepless for the remainder of their stay. Many visitors return to the hotel not only for its coastal beauty and historic significance, but also in hopes of witnessing the unexplained firsthand. Paranormal tours have become a staple attraction, offering guests the chance to explore the hotel's haunted reputation while learning about its rich history. The Hotel del Coronado, with its ornate Victorian architecture, oceanfront setting, and century-long legacy, stands as a living monument to the past. Yet its fame is inseparable from the spectral presence that continues to intrigue and terrify. From room 307, where cold hands and unseen watchers leave lasting impressions, to the echoes of children's laughter and shadowy figures in windows, the hotel embodies a convergence of history and mystery. Guests depart with stories of ghostly encounters, unexplainable phenomena, and fleeting glimpses of the past, ensuring that the Hotel del Coronado remains not only a landmark of luxury, but also one of America's most captivating haunted destinations. The Peffelts Hotel in Chicago, Illinois, is a landmark known for its elegance and history. But over the decades, it has also gained notoriety for unexplained paranormal activity. Guests and staff alike have reported a range of phenomena, from fleeting shadowy figures in hallways to bedsheets moving as if disturbed by unseen hands. The experiences at the Peffelts Hotel are not isolated incidents. They span decades, suggesting a persistent presence that continues to intrigue visitors, paranormal enthusiasts, and skeptics alike. One of the most commonly reported phenomena at the Peffelts Hotel involves shadowy figures appearing in the hallways. Guests walking to and from their rooms at night sometimes glimpse forms at the edge of their vision, figures that seem humanoid but lack clear features. These shadows often disappear the moment they are directly observed, leaving only the lingering sense that someone or something is present. Long-term staff members have described similar sightings, noting that these figures sometimes appear near stairwells or in dimly lit corridors where the lighting is intentionally low to preserve the hotel as historic ambience. Some guests report feeling a presence following them as they walk, their skin prickling with a sensation that cannot be explained by air currents or imagination. Bedsheet disturbances are another hallmark of the Peffelts Hotel's hauntings. Visitors frequently report waking in the middle of the night to find their sheets twisted, folded, or moved, despite no one else being in the room. In some cases, the movement is subtle, barely perceptible, yet unmistakable. In others, the sheets appear to have been violently tossed, causing alarm and panic. These incidents, while unnerving, have become a defining aspect of the Peffelts Hotel's paranormal reputation, with repeat visitors anticipating the possibility of such disturbances during their stay. Voices are also a common feature of the Peffelts Hotel's hauntings. Guests have reported hearing their names called softly, often in empty rooms or hallways. These auditory experiences can range from indistinct whispers to clear, articulated speech. Some visitors describe the voices as urgent or warning-like, creating a sense of tension that persists even after the sound fades. Staff have occasionally heard similar voices, especially near elevators and main corridors, adding to the sense that the hotel itself is a living entity, interacting with those who enter its walls. Paranormal investigators have noted that these vocal phenomena often coincide with sightings of shadowy figures, suggesting a connection between visual and auditory manifestations. Among the most intriguing aspects of the Peffelts Hotel's paranormal activity is a recurring shadow near the elevators. Investigators using night vision cameras and motion sensors have documented this dark form appearing and moving independently of any guest or staff activity. The shadow seems to linger in the vicinity of the elevator shaft, sometimes vanishing suddenly or appearing to follow the movements of those nearby. Some theorize that this shadow may be tied to the hotel's history, possibly representing a former employee, a lost guest, or an imprint of past events. Despite numerous investigations, the shadow remains elusive, resisting attempts to fully identify or understand its nature. Paranormal experts visiting the Peffeltz Hotel have employed a variety of investigative tools, from electromagnetic field detectors to thermal imaging cameras, in an effort to document and explain the reported phenomena. Many of these investigations have yielded compelling results, including temperature fluctuations in hallways and rooms, unexplained cold spots near beds, and visual anomalies on surveillance footage. Some researchers suggest that the building's age, combined with the emotional energy accumulated over decades of occupancy, may contribute to the persistence of these manifestations. Others believe that the hotel serves as a focal point for residual energy, where intense emotions and historical events are replayed in subtle, haunting ways. The hotel's architecture and historic design appear to amplify the sense of unease. Long corridors, ornate staircases, and dimly lit hallways create natural shadows and optical illusions, which may contribute to the experiences of guests. Yet the consistency of reports across decades, combined with documentation from trained paranormal investigators, suggests that the phenomena cannot be attributed solely to the imagination or environmental factors. Guests repeatedly recount experiences that defy simple explanation, pointing to an enduring presence within the Peffeltz Hotel's walls. Many guests describe an emotional response to the hotel's paranormal activity that goes beyond fear. Some feel a sense of being watched, while others report an inexplicable compulsion to leave their rooms at night or avoid certain hallways entirely. Even visitors who initially dismiss the reports of hauntings often find themselves unsettled by subtle occurrences, such as objects out of place or fleeting shadows at the edge of vision. For these individuals, the Peffeltz Hotel becomes a space where the boundary between the ordinary and the supernatural is blurred, and where the past seems to exert a quiet but persistent influence over the present. Staff members have adapted to the hotel's reputation, offering guidance to curious guests while acknowledging the unexplainable events that occur. Housekeeping personnel, night clerks, and long-term employees often share anecdotes of unexplained occurrences, emphasizing that these events are not isolated to a single room or hallway. Instead, the activity seems to permeate the building, suggesting that the Peffeltz Hotel itself may be a repository for residual energy or a conduit for spirits seeking interaction with the living. The Peffeltz Hotel continues to attract guests not only for its historic charm, but also for its paranormal allure. Visitors hoping to experience the unexplained flock to the hotel, often staying in rooms known for frequent activity, while paranormal investigators return to document and analyze the phenomena. Reports of shadowy figures, moving bedsheets, and disembodied voices persist, contributing to a legacy that blends history with mystery. The recurring shadow near the elevators remains one of the most enigmatic elements, capturing the imagination of anyone who witnesses or studies it. In the end, the Peffeltz Hotel stands as a testament to the enduring fascination humans have with the supernatural. Cold touches, shadowy figures, whispering voices, and moving bedsheets create an atmosphere that is both captivating and unsettling. For guests, the hotel is more than a place to sleep. It is a location where the past manifests in subtle yet undeniable ways, and where the paranormal leaves its mark on all who enter. The Peffeltz Hotel's reputation as one of Chicago's most haunted locations is well earned, with its combination of historical significance, architectural presence, and persistent, unexplained activity, ensuring that it remains a destination for those drawn to the mysteries of the unseen. The Skirvin Hotel in Oklahoma City, Oklahoma, stands as one of the oldest and most iconic landmarks in the region. A grand structure with a storied past stretching back over a century. Built in 1911, the hotel has hosted presidents, celebrities, and countless visitors seeking comfort and elegance. However, beyond its luxurious lobbies and ornate ballrooms lies a chilling legacy of paranormal activity that has earned it a reputation as one of the most haunted hotels in the United States. from cold drafts that appear without cause to objects moving independently. The Skirvin is a place where the boundary between the living and the supernatural seems to blur. The phenomenon of unexplained cold drafts is one of the most frequently reported occurrences throughout the hotel. Guests have described sudden drops in temperature, often in the middle of summer, with no visible source. These icy gusts can sweep through hallways, elevators, and guest rooms, leaving a tangible chill that raises goosebumps and sends visitors seeking warmth. Some report feeling as though the air itself carries a presence, heavy and oppressive, lingering long after the initial drop in temperature has passed. Staff members have noted that these cold drafts are particularly common during the night, suggesting a pattern tied to the hotel's spectral activity. Whispering voices are another hallmark of the Skirvin's hauntings. Guests report faint, unintelligible murmurs echoing in hallways, along staircases, or just beyond the doorway of their rooms. These voices are often fleeting, disappearing when one tries to locate their source. Some describe them as the whispers of long-dead inhabitants, while others feel the voices convey urgent messages or warnings. Staff members working late-night shifts have corroborated these experiences, reporting that the voices sometimes appear to respond to conversations or even repeat words spoken aloud, as if the hotel itself is listening and communicating with its guests. Objects moving independently are a more alarming manifestation of the Skirvin's haunted reputation. Visitors have recounted seeing chairs sliding across floors, paintings tilting, and small items like glasses or keys shifting without human intervention. In some cases, objects are thrown entirely across rooms, startling guests and staff alike. These occurrences have been documented in both guest rooms and public spaces, with eyewitness accounts describing a sense of intention behind the movements, as though an unseen entity is interacting with the living, testing boundaries, or sending a warning. Room 808 holds a particularly chilling status among the Skirvin's haunted spaces. Guests staying in this room frequently report vivid paranormal encounters, ranging from subtle sensations to outright apparitions. One of the most common experiences involves shadowy figures standing near the bed, often just at the edge of sight. These figures are described as semi-transparent, occasionally assuming the forms of men or women dressed in early 20th century attire. When approached, they vanish suddenly, leaving only an uneasy silence and a lingering impression that the guest has been observed. Some visitors report waking to find objects on the nightstand moved, or personal items displaced, as if the spirit had interacted with them during the night. The history of Room 808 may shed light on its intense activity. The room is linked to the tragic story of a young woman named Day, a former resident who worked at the hotel in the 1930s. Local legend states that she lived a troubled life, facing personal hardships and an untimely death. Over the years, countless guests have reported that the room carries her lingering presence, and some believe that she seeks attention, either as a protective spirit or as a restless soul unable to move on. The combination of tragic history and repeated guest encounters contributes to Room 808's notorious reputation among paranormal enthusiasts. Staff members of the Skirvin Hotel have also encountered unexplained events during night shifts. Housekeeping reports hearing footsteps in empty hallways, doors opening and closing without mechanical cause, and elevator buttons lighting up despite no one being inside. Maintenance personnel have recounted tools and supplies being inexplicably moved or misplaced, often returning to their original positions without explanation. Even the hotel's front desk staff have witnessed unusual occurrences, including the sound of conversations from empty corridors and fleeting glimpses of figures disappearing around corners. These repeated events over decades suggest that the Skirvin's paranormal activity is not limited to guest experiences, but is a persistent presence throughout the building. Paranormal investigators visiting the hotel have documented numerous strange occurrences, consistent with guest and staff reports. Using thermal imaging, electromagnetic field meters, and audio recorders, investigators have captured unexplained cold spots, faint whispers, and shadowy figures on camera. In some cases, devices have recorded knocks, taps, and even brief flashes of light with no discernible source. Investigators also report feeling watched, experiencing sudden drops in temperature, and sensing a heavy, oppressive atmosphere in certain areas, particularly around room 808 and the upper hallways of the hotel. Despite its reputation, the Skirvin Hotel remains a highly sought-after destination. Guests are drawn not only by its historical significance and luxurious accommodations, but also by the allure of experiencing its paranormal activity firsthand. Many visitors describe a mixture of fear and fascination, eager to explore the hotel's storied halls while remaining mindful of the spirits that may inhabit them. Some feel a protective presence, while others sense a mischievous or even malevolent energy, heightening the thrill of staying in a building steeped in history and mystery. The Skirvin Hotel continues to captivate and terrify guests with its combination of elegance, history, and supernatural phenomena. Cold drafts that appear without warning, whispering voices that echo through hallways, objects moving independently, and the ever-haunted Room 808 provide compelling evidence that the hotel is more than just a grand historic building. Is a place where the past and present coexist in eerie, tangible ways. Visitors and staff alike experience the lingering presence of spirits who remain, whether protective, restless, or seeking recognition, ensuring that the Skirvin Hotel's reputation as one of Oklahoma City's most haunted locations endures through the decades. The Baker Hotel in Mineral Wells, Texas, stands as a monument to both luxury and tragedy. Its grand facade, a reminder of a bygone era when the hotel was considered one of the finest in the state. Built in 1929, the Baker quickly gained fame as a destination for the wealthy and famous, boasting opulent ballrooms, sprawling corridors, and a reputation for elegance. Yet beneath its grandeur lies a history steeped in misfortune, mysterious deaths, and unexplained phenomena. Though the hotel has been abandoned for decades, it continues to attract thrill seekers, paranormal investigators, and curious visitors, drawn by its reputation as one of the most haunted buildings in Texas. Visitors to the Baker Hotel often report eerie experiences that defy explanation. One of the most commonly cited phenomena is the appearance of faces in windows. Guests and explorers recount seeing human silhouettes staring from upper floors, often in rooms that are completely empty. These faces appear to follow onlookers as they move through the hotel grounds, vanishing when approached or when sunlight strikes the window panes. The fleeting nature of these apparitions creates a disorienting atmosphere, leaving visitors with the unnerving feeling of being watched by eyes from another time, trapped within the building's crumbling walls. Poltergeist activity is another hallmark of the Baker's haunting. Objects have been reported moving on their own, sometimes slowly shifting across tables, other times being thrown with sudden force. Doors creak and slam without any wind to explain them, and in several instances, visitors claim to have felt invisible hands pushing or grasping at them as they explored the abandoned halls. These physical interactions are often accompanied by the sensation of being followed, as if unseen entities are moving just out of sight, observing every step. Some guests describe hearing footsteps echoing from above, even when exploring rooms alone on upper floors, and doors that were securely closed mysteriously opening on their own. Auditory phenomena are also common within the Baker Hotel. Explorers report hearing voices whispering from empty corridors, sometimes so soft that they can barely make out the words. These whispers are frequently described as mournful or urgent, and they often seem to respond to the presence of the living. Other visitors have heard sudden, inexplicable noises, the distant clang of metal, the soft creaking of floors above, or the faint sound of laughter that echoes through long-forgotten ballrooms. These noises contribute to the building's oppressive atmosphere, making even daylight visits feel fraught with tension and unease. The Baker's history may help explain its haunted reputation. Over the years, the hotel was the site of numerous tragic events, including accidental deaths, medical emergencies, and rumored suicides. Its famed mineral water spa drew thousands of patients seeking cures for various ailments, and many of those who came left with their lives shortened or under mysterious circumstances. Combined with the sudden closure of the hotel in the 1970s and its subsequent abandonment, the building became a repository of sorrow, creating the conditions for what many believe are restless spirits lingering within its walls. Explorers and paranormal investigators who have ventured inside the Baker Hotel often describe a tangible sense of oppression, a heaviness that seems to settle over certain rooms and hallways. Temperature fluctuations are frequently noted, with sudden cold spots appearing in otherwise warm areas. Some investigators report electromagnetic disturbances, flickering lights, or unexplained shadows captured on cameras. Visitors also recount feelings of panic or dizziness, particularly when venturing alone into the upper floors, suggesting that the building's influence is not merely psychological, but may have a physical effect on those within it. Even during daylight hours, the Baker Hotel exerts an uncanny presence. Visitors attempting to document the interior with cameras and audio equipment frequently encounter malfunctions, such as batteries dying inexplicably or electronic devices shutting down entirely. Some claim that cameras capture blurred figures or faint outlines of shapes that vanish upon review, while audio devices record faint whispers or knocks with no discernible source. These experiences reinforce the hotel's reputation as a site where the past remains palpable, lingering long after the building ceased operations. Room 525 is among the most frequently mentioned in reports of paranormal activity. Guests and explorers describe sudden cold drafts, objects shifting across surfaces, and a sensation of being watched from every corner. Some have reported seeing fleeting shadows crossing the floor or glimpsing figures in mirrors that vanish when looked at directly. The room's history, like much of the hotel, is clouded with rumor, but its reputation as a hotspot for supernatural activity is well established among thrill-seekers and paranormal enthusiasts alike. Despite the hotel's abandonment and the dangers associated with its decaying structure, the Baker continues to draw visitors. Some come seeking adrenaline and a brush with the supernatural, while others hope to capture photographic or audio evidence of the paranormal. Local legends speak of spirits protective of the hotel, while others warn of malevolent entities angered by trespassers. The combination of architectural decay, tragic history, and documented supernatural encounters ensures that the Baker Hotel remains a magnet for those fascinated by the paranormal. The Baker Hotel's legacy is one of beauty intertwined with darkness. Its crumbling walls and empty halls, once filled with laughter, music, and the murmur of patrons, now echo with the whispers and footsteps of unseen occupants. Faces in windows, objects moving independently, sudden noises, and the chilling sensation of invisible hands create an environment that is as unnerving as it is compelling. Visitors and investigators alike leave with stories of ghostly figures, whispered warnings, and unexplained phenomena, ensuring that the Baker Hotel's reputation as one of Texas's most haunted locations endures. Even in its abandoned state, it continues to hold the attention of those who seek to experience the intersection of history and the supernatural, a place where the past refuses to remain silent and the spirits of mineral wells, storied hotel, are never truly at rest. The Stanley Hotel Annex in Estes Park, Colorado, stands as a mysterious extension of the already infamous main Stanley Hotel, a place known worldwide for its inspiration behind Stephen King's The Shining. While the main building draws thousands of tourists each year, eager to experience its historic grandeur and reputed hauntings, the Annex offers a quieter, yet equally chilling, encounter with the paranormal. Visitors and staff alike report a host of supernatural phenomena, from inexplicable cold spots to fleeting apparitions, earning the Annex a reputation as a hotspot for ghostly activity. Guests first notice the subtle disturbances as they move through the hallways. Doors have been reported slamming without cause, startling anyone nearby, while windows rattle as if buffeted by a sudden wind, even on calm days. These physical manifestations are often accompanied by a sense of unease, a heavy atmosphere that seems to press down upon those walking the corridors. The sensation is not merely psychological. Many visitors report feeling sudden chills that leave them shivering, even when temperatures within the annex remain perfectly normal. Paranormal investigators often point to these cold spots as indicators of spirit activity, suggesting that residual energy from past occupants or lingering spirits may be manifesting in a tangible form. Sightings of figures in the hallways are a frequent occurrence. Guests describe shadowy shapes that appear at the edges of their vision, only to vanish the instant they attempt to focus on them. Some report brief glimpses of individuals dressed in early 20th century attire, fading into the background as though aware of being watched. These fleeting apparitions create an unsettling effect, leaving observers with the eerie feeling that they are not alone. Staff members recount similar experiences, often seeing movement in empty corridors or catching the reflection of a figure in a window, only to find nothing there moments later. The annex seems particularly sensitive to human presence. Many paranormal researchers have noted that disturbances, such as doors opening or objects moving, occur most frequently when visitors are alone or exploring the building at night. Guests describe hearing footsteps echoing from empty rooms, whispers that seem to respond to their words, and the distant sound of music playing faintly, though no instrument is present. These auditory phenomena contribute to the overall sense of being watched and followed, reinforcing the building's reputation as a place where the boundary between the living and the supernatural is thin. Certain rooms within the annex have earned notoriety for repeated paranormal incidents. Guests have reported objects shifting on their own, lights flickering unexpectedly, and shadows appearing in corners. One recurring theme is the sensation of being observed. Visitors frequently feel eyes upon them, a presence lurking just out of sight. Some have even recounted waking in the middle of the night to find the door to their room ajar, despite having locked it, or hearing soft knocking on walls where no one could be present. These experiences create a disorienting and frightening environment, compelling many to cut their stays short or request room changes. Investigators who have examined the annex note that the manifestations are not limited to visual or auditory phenomena. Electronic equipment frequently malfunctions without explanation. Cameras capture anomalies, such as unexplained blurs or faint figures, and audio devices occasionally record whispers and footsteps with no identifiable source. Some researchers have suggested that the annex may serve as a repository for residual energy from past occupants of the main Stanley Hotel and its extension, creating a concentrated area of paranormal activity that responds to the presence of the living. The history of the annex may provide some insight into its haunting. Constructed as an extension to accommodate more guests, it has housed countless visitors over the decades, many of whom experienced sudden illness, accidents, or emotional distress during their stays. While these occurrences may have mundane explanations, the accumulation of such experiences may have contributed to a lingering spiritual presence. Local lore suggests that certain spirits remain attached to the annex, replaying moments from their lives or deaths, manifesting in the forms of shadows, cold spots, and sudden sounds. This theory aligns with the reports of visitors encountering unexplained phenomena that seem tied to specific locations or rooms. Visitors also frequently describe an atmosphere of anticipation, a sense that something is about to happen, even in the absence of visual or auditory cues. It is as if the annex itself is alive with expectation, reacting to the presence of those who dare to explore it. This sensation can be accompanied by sudden feelings of anxiety or dread, further enhancing the impression of an intelligent, watchful presence. Many first-time guests admit that the effect is so pronounced that they feel compelled to leave the building after only a short visit, while repeat visitors often return to test their courage against the building's unexplained occurrences. The Stanley Hotel Annex continues to attract thrill-seekers, ghost hunters, and paranormal enthusiasts drawn by its reputation for supernatural activity. Guided tours, overnight stays, and investigative events all offer opportunities to encounter the unexplained, providing first-hand experiences of doors slamming, shadows moving, and cold spots appearing without warning. Photographers and videographers hope to capture visual evidence of the apparitions, while audio enthusiasts record whispers and footsteps that defy rational explanation. Each encounter adds to the growing archive of stories surrounding the annex, ensuring that its reputation as a haunted extension of the Stanley Hotel endures. Despite its historic charm and luxurious appearance, the Stanley Hotel Annex is a place where the past lingers, refusing to be confined to memory alone. Cold spots, slamming doors, rattling windows, and fleeting figures serve as a constant reminder that the spirits of the building's former occupants may still roam its corridors. Guests and investigators alike leave with stories of unexplained phenomena, confirming that the annex is more than just an architectural extension. It is a conduit to the unknown, a place where the ordinary and the supernatural intersect. Whether protecting the building, replaying unfinished business, or simply manifesting for their own purposes, the entities of the Stanley Hotel Annex ensure that the building's legacy as one of Colorado's most haunted locations remains unchallenged, drawing curiosity and apprehension from all who enter its doors. The St. James Hotel in Red Wing, Minnesota, is more than just a historic landmark. It is a place steeped in stories of the unexplained, a location where the line between the living and the spectral seems to blur. Over the decades, visitors and staff have shared accounts of cold touches, shadowy figures, and whispered voices echoing through the halls. While the hotel itself retains the charm of early 20th century architecture, the experiences reported by guests paint a picture of a building alive with restless spirits. Among the hotel's many rooms, room 353 stands out as particularly notorious, drawing curiosity seekers, paranormal enthusiasts, and those brave enough to spend the night in the company of the unexplained. Guests entering the St. James Hotel often describe an initial sense of unease, a subtle weight in the air that grows heavier as they move through the corridors. The first signs of paranormal activity are often tactile, sudden chills or icy touches on the skin, felt even when the temperature is moderate. Visitors have reported the sensation of fingers brushing their shoulders or hands pressing against them while no one is nearby. These inexplicable touches frequently occur at night, in the quietest hours, creating an unsettling experience that lingers long after the sensation passes. Staff have occasionally witnessed guests recoil or call out in surprise, confirming that the experiences are not imagined but tangible interactions with something unseen. Shadowy figures are another common report among those who stay at the St. James. Occupants have described shapes moving along hallways, standing in corners, or pacing the floors silently. These forms often appear humanoid but lack distinct features, vanishing when approached or illuminated. Some guests have seen what they describe as a man in period clothing, appearing as if observing the room before fading into the walls. The consistency of these sightings across decades has fueled speculation that certain spirits remain tied to the hotel, perhaps connected to events or individuals from its past. For many, the shadowy figures are not merely frightening, they are reminders of lives once intertwined with the building, persisting beyond the boundary of death. Room 353, in particular, has earned a reputation as the epicenter of the hotel's supernatural activity. Occupants frequently report waking in the night to find a ghostly figure standing at the foot of their bed, silently observing them. The figure is often described as a man dressed in early 20th century attire, with indistinct facial features that add to the sense of unease. By morning, the apparition disappears, leaving behind only the memory of its presence, and sometimes, lingering cold air, or a sense of being watched. Guests have recounted difficulty sleeping, heightened anxiety, and a profound feeling that they are not alone, even when the room appears empty. Paranormal researchers suggest that the room may serve as a focal point for residual energy, where the emotions and experiences of past occupants manifest in tangible forms. Whispers and faint voices are another frequently reported phenomenon at the St. James Hotel. Guests often hear words, spoken softly, sometimes calling their names, other times offering cryptic phrases that cannot be clearly understood. These auditory phenomena occur throughout the hotel, but are particularly intense in room 353. Some visitors describe the whispers as urgent or warning-like, creating a sense of tension and fear. Investigators using audio recording equipment have captured anomalies, fragments of speech, and unexplained noises that do not correspond to any external source. These sounds often accompany sightings of shadowy figures or cold spots, suggesting a coordinated manifestation of supernatural activity. Staff and long-term visitors have shared their own experiences, noting that the hotel seems to react to the presence of people in unique ways. Lights flicker, doors creak or swing open without explanation, and objects occasionally move slightly, as if nudged by unseen hands. Housekeeping personnel have reported towels or small items shifting in rooms, and night staff have sometimes heard footsteps echoing along empty hallways. The frequency of these occurrences has led many to believe that the St. James Hotel is not merely haunted in isolated incidents, but is a place where spirits maintain an ongoing connection to the living world. Paranormal investigations at the hotel have documented numerous phenomena, ranging from temperature fluctuations and electromagnetic anomalies to visual and auditory manifestations. Investigators suggest that the energy in the building may be amplified by its age, historical significance, and the emotional weight carried by those who once inhabited it. Room 353 consistently shows elevated readings on monitoring equipment, correlating with multiple guest reports of ghostly sightings and unexplained sensations. Some experts theorize that certain spirits remain attached to the room, replaying moments from their lives or deaths, while others may be drawn to the emotional energy of new visitors. The hotel's history provides a backdrop that may explain its spectral reputation. Built in the early 1900s, the St. James has hosted countless travelers, events, and daily lives over more than a century. Such longevity often contributes to the accumulation of residual energy, particularly when tragic or intense events occur within the building. While specific historical incidents may be obscured by time, the repeated experiences reported by guests suggest a continuity of presence and ongoing interaction between the past and the present, between the living and the spirits that inhabit the hotel. Visitors drawn to the St. James Hotel, particularly room 353, often arrive with curiosity, hoping to witness the unexplained firsthand. Many leave with vivid stories, a sudden chill when entering the room, the unsettling gaze of a shadowy figure, or the lingering impression of whispered warnings. Even those who attempt to dismiss these experiences often cannot shake the feeling that something beyond human understanding is present. The hotel's reputation as one of Minnesota's most haunted locations is reinforced by the consistency and intensity of these encounters, making it a destination for thrill seekers, ghost enthusiasts, and skeptics alike. The St. James Hotel remains a place where history, architecture, and the paranormal converge. Cold touches, shadowy figures, and whispering voices create an atmosphere that captivates and terrifies simultaneously. Room 353 stands as a focal point for these experiences, offering a chilling glimpse into the unseen forces that linger within the building. Guests leave with stories that blur the line between reality and the supernatural, ensuring that the St. James Hotel continues to be remembered not just as a historic inn, but as a space where the echoes of the past manifest in the present, and where the spirits of the hotel's long-forgotten residents remain an enduring presence. The Jefferson Hotel in Richmond, Virginia, is a grand testament to early 20th century elegance, with its marble floors, ornate chandeliers, and stately architecture. But beneath its luxurious veneer lies a layer of mystery and the unexplained, drawing the attention of both history enthusiasts and those fascinated by the supernatural. Since its opening, the hotel has been associated with countless stories of hauntings, paranormal activity, and spectral sightings, with certain areas gaining a particularly eerie reputation. One of the most frequently mentioned occurrences is the sound of phantom footsteps echoing through the hallways late at night. Guests staying on upper floors report hearing the rhythmic tap of polished shoes on marble and wood, moving with deliberate pace. These footsteps are often accompanied by sudden cold drafts and the feeling of being watched, despite the hallways appearing empty. Witnesses describe the sound of footsteps approaching their rooms, stopping briefly outside the door, and then fading into silence, leaving an unsettling impression that someone or something is present but invisible. Housekeeping and staff have also reported hearing similar sounds, noting that they often occur during hours when the hotel is largely unoccupied, adding credibility to the accounts. Another hallmark of the Jefferson Hotel's supernatural reputation is doors slamming without cause. Guests have described doors banging shut with such force that it startles them awake in the middle of the night. These events frequently occur without any noticeable breeze, mechanical failure, or external influence. In some cases, doors are found locked or closed, despite being left open previously, suggesting the presence of an unseen hand. Staff members confirm that these incidents are reported on a regular basis, with certain hallways and wings of the hotel being more prone to this inexplicable activity. The combination of sudden sounds, cold drafts, and visual anomalies contributes to the persistent sense of unease that permeates the hotel after dark. Shadowy figures are a recurring element of the Jefferson Hotel's paranormal lore. Guests often report seeing dark, human-shaped silhouettes moving just at the edge of vision, disappearing the moment they turn to look directly. These figures are most commonly observed in hallways and near staircases, sometimes appearing to pause or glance in the direction of the witness before fading into the surroundings. Some visitors have reported glimpses of figures in reflective surfaces, such as mirrors or polished brass fixtures, which vanish when approached. The presence of these shadowy forms adds a psychological tension to the hotel's atmosphere, reinforcing the idea that the building is more than just an architectural marvel. It is a space where the past continues to linger. Room 806 is particularly infamous for its haunting. Many guests staying in this room report disturbances that range from mild unease to full-fledged paranormal encounters. One of the most striking stories involves the ballroom, adjacent to room 806, where the faint sounds of piano music are said to fill the air late at night. Visitors have claimed to hear intricate melodies being played on the grand piano, even when the room is entirely empty and the piano itself untouched. The music is often described as hauntingly beautiful, melancholic, and unmistakably human in its execution. Some guests report seeing the shadow of a figure at the piano, playing with fluid movements before vanishing when approached. Paranormal investigators speculate that this could be a residual haunting, where intense emotions or memories associated with the space are imprinted upon the environment, manifesting as sounds, visual apparitions, or physical sensations. In addition to auditory phenomena, room 806 is associated with other unusual events. Guests have described sudden drops in temperature, the sensation of unseen hands brushing against them, and objects moving slightly when left on tables or dressers. Some visitors have reported faint whispers, seemingly calling out names or making indistinct statements, echoing through the room with no identifiable source. The consistency of these reports over decades has made room 806 a focal point for ghost enthusiasts and paranormal researchers, with many believing it to be a hotspot of supernatural energy within the hotel. Paranormal investigators visiting the Jefferson Hotel have documented numerous phenomena consistent with guest reports using thermal cameras, electromagnetic field meters, and audio recording equipment. They have captured unexplained temperature fluctuations, sudden cold spots, and faint voices appearing on recordings. Observers sometimes experience the same sensations reported by guests: a feeling of being watched, brief glimpses of shadowy figures, or sudden chills that cannot be accounted for by air conditioning or drafts. Investigators note that these experiences tend to be concentrated around the hallways, staircases, and specifically room 806, supporting anecdotal accounts from long-term visitors. The Jefferson Hotel's haunting is further amplified by its rich history. Opened in 1895, the hotel has hosted countless dignitaries, socialites, and notable events. Throughout its history, incidents of tragedy, unexpected deaths, and personal sorrow have been recorded, creating conditions for what paranormal researchers call residual energy, a kind of imprint left by intense human emotion or activity. Many believe that these imprints may explain why certain areas, particularly room 806 and the ballroom, seem to attract so much supernatural attention. Guests who encounter these unexplained events often describe a mixture of fear, fascination, and awe. Some perceive the spirit in room 806 and the surrounding hallways as protective, ensuring the hotel maintains its dignity and history, while others feel a menacing presence, particularly when the footsteps, doors, or shadowy figures manifest in more aggressive ways. Despite the fear, many are drawn to the Jefferson Hotel precisely for these experiences, eager to witness the supernatural for themselves while enjoying the historical and luxurious setting. The Jefferson Hotel remains a living testament to Richmond's past, blending elegance, history, and mystery. Phantom footsteps echoing down the hallways, doors slamming without explanation, shadowy figures glimpsed in peripheral vision, and the haunting melodies of the ballroom piano combine to create an atmosphere unlike any other. Room 806, in particular, stands as a chilling reminder that some spirits linger, their presence felt by those who cross the threshold, ensuring that the Jefferson Hotel continues to captivate and terrify visitors alike. The Baker Street Inn in Boston, Massachusetts, has long been a site of both historical charm and unexplained phenomena. Guests and staff alike have reported eerie occurrences that challenge the boundaries between the ordinary and the supernatural. Among the most consistent accounts are phantom footsteps echoing through the hallways, sudden cold drafts that appear without warning, and disembodied voices that speak in hushed tones, often reciting fragments of conversation or forgotten words. These incidents have persisted for decades, earning the inn a reputation as one of Boston's most haunted accommodations, drawing curious visitors, paranormal enthusiasts, and skeptics seeking an encounter with the unknown. One of the most striking phenomena at the Baker Street Inn involves the sounds of phantom footsteps. Guests frequently report hearing footsteps in hallways late at night, often when the corridors are entirely empty. These footsteps vary in tone and rhythm, sometimes slow and deliberate, sometimes quick and frantic, creating a sense of tension and unease. Long-term staff members confirm that the phenomenon is not limited to guest reports. Even during daytime hours, the sound of pacing or hurried steps can be heard in areas known to be unoccupied. Investigators suggest that these footsteps may be residual energy from past inhabitants or visitors, replaying moments of intense emotion or unrest that occurred within the inn's walls. Cold air is another hallmark of the inn's paranormal activity. Guests often report sudden chills that appear without explanation, sometimes localized to a single room or hallway. These cold spots can be accompanied by a sense of foreboding, as if the very air carries a message or presence. Some visitors describe the feeling of being watched when the temperature drops, while others report a distinct pressure, as though an invisible entity is standing nearby. Paranormal experts have noted that these cold drafts do not correspond to heating or ventilation issues, and their persistence over decades suggests a supernatural origin rather than a mechanical cause. Disembodied voices are a further element of the Baker Street Inn's haunting. Guests frequently hear whispers, often unintelligible at first, but occasionally forming coherent words or phrases. Some visitors claim to hear their own names being called, or fragments of conversations that seem entirely disconnected from the present. Staff have reported similar experiences, particularly near the older sections of the inn, where original architecture has been preserved. These voices are sometimes accompanied by subtle tactile sensations, such as a brush against the arm or a gentle tug on clothing, reinforcing the sense that an unseen presence is interacting with the living. Among the most notable and recurring apparitions is a woman in Victorian dress. Guests describe seeing her pacing hallways, often in the late evening, her figure illuminated dimly by ambient lighting or the reflection of antique fixtures. She appears calm but deliberate, moving with an air of purpose, as though carrying out a long-forgotten routine. When approached, she vanishes abruptly, leaving behind only the echo of her footsteps or a lingering sense of presence. This apparition has been reported repeatedly over the years, making her one of the inn's signature spirits and a primary focus for paranormal investigations. The Victorian woman's appearance is often accompanied by other phenomena, suggesting a complex layering of supernatural activity. Lights in the hallways may flicker when she is seen, and cold spots frequently follow her movement. Guests have reported objects slightly shifted after her apparition passes, as though she interacts with the environment without leaving tangible evidence. Some investigators theorize that she may be a residual spirit tied to the inn's history, potentially a former resident or a guest whose life ended under circumstances that left unresolved energy behind. Paranormal researchers visiting the Baker Street Inn have employed a variety of methods to document and analyze these occurrences. Infrared cameras, electromagnetic field detectors, and audio recorders have been used to capture evidence of unseen activity. Investigations often reveal unexplained visual anomalies, temperature fluctuations, and audio phenomena, corroborating guests and staff reports. The persistence and consistency of these experiences across multiple decades lend credibility to claims of paranormal activity, distinguishing the inn from locations where reports may be attributed solely to imagination or suggestion. The architecture and historic ambience of the Baker Street Inn also play a role in the haunting. Narrow hallways, antique furnishings, and preserved Victorian-era design create shadows and optical effects that can contribute to the eerie atmosphere. Yet the repeated sightings of the woman, the unexplained footsteps, and cold drafts extend beyond environmental explanations. Many guests note that their experiences are distinctly different from ordinary old building creaks or drafts, emphasizing a presence that is intentional and sentient rather than coincidental. Guests often describe emotional reactions to their encounters that range from fear to fascination. Some feel compelled to follow the Victorian woman or investigate the source of the footsteps, while others retreat to the safety of their rooms. The combination of visual, auditory, and tactile experiences creates an immersive environment where the past seems to reach out to the present. Even visitors skeptical of the supernatural often leave with stories that suggest the inn's mysteries defy simple explanation. Staff members have learned to navigate the inn's haunted reputation with a balance of professionalism and acknowledgement of the unexplained. Housekeeping and night staff have shared personal accounts of shadows in hallways, unexplained movements of objects, and the sensation of being observed. Their familiarity with these occurrences has made them valuable sources for understanding patterns of activity and the locations where manifestations are most likely to occur. The Baker Street Inn remains a destination not only for its historical charm but also for its paranormal allure. Guests are drawn to the possibility of encountering ghostly activity, while paranormal investigators return to document and analyze its mysteries. Phantom footsteps, cold air, disembodied voices, and the Victorian apparition continue to define the inn's haunted reputation. Each new sighting or experience adds to the legacy of the Baker Street in a place where the past interacts with the present in ways that are both captivating and unsettling, offering visitors a direct connection to the unexplained phenomena that have persisted for generations. The Carrollton Inn in New Orleans, Louisiana, has earned a reputation as one of the city's most haunted accommodations, blending historic charm with a persistent air of the supernatural. Guests and staff alike recount a range of eerie experiences, from fleeting shadows and sudden cold drafts to whispers and ghostly laughter echoing through hallways. These phenomena are not isolated incidents, but recurring patterns, suggesting the presence of spirits that interact with the living in subtle and sometimes startling ways. One of the most commonly reported occurrences at the Carrollton Inn involves shadowy figures. Visitors frequently describe glimpsing dark silhouettes moving along corridors or appearing at the edges of rooms. These figures are often indistinct, lacking discernible features, yet they convey a sense of intentionality. Guests report feeling watched as they move about the inn, with some claiming that the figures seem to follow them from room to room, disappearing when directly approached. Staff members confirm similar sightings, noting that these apparitions often appear in areas with historic significance or near rooms that have experienced repeated reports of paranormal activity. Cold drafts are another hallmark of the inn's haunted atmosphere. Guests commonly report sudden, localized drops in temperature, sometimes accompanied by a sensation of pressure or being touched by an unseen presence. These chills often occur without any draft from windows, doors, or ventilation systems, leading many to conclude that they are caused by supernatural forces rather than natural air currents. Visitors frequently note that the cold is accompanied by an eerie silence or a low hum, heightening the feeling that the building itself is alive with unseen energy. Whispers and ghostly laughter are reported throughout the Carrollton Inn, often occurring in empty hallways or late at night. Some guests describe hearing fragments of conversations, while others recount hearing their names called softly, only to find no one present. The laughter can range from a light, almost playful sound to something more sinister, echoing in a way that seems to come from the very walls. Staff members report similar auditory phenomena, particularly in rooms that are known for their activity, suggesting a persistent and intelligent presence that engages with those in the inn. Room 213 is widely regarded as the inn's most haunted space. Guests staying in this room report an array of unsettling experiences, including bedsheets tugging and shifting while they sleep, creating the sensation of an unseen entity interacting with them. Mirrors in the room are also a frequent source of terror, with visitors claiming to see faint images of faces or figures reflected in the glass, sometimes appearing briefly before vanishing. These visual manifestations are accompanied by the familiar cold drafts and whispers, creating a multi-sensory experience that many describe as profoundly unsettling. Paranormal investigators note that room 213 has a high concentration of activity, with consistent reports spanning decades, reinforcing its reputation as the epicenter of the inn's supernatural phenomena. The Carrollton Inn's history may contribute to its haunted reputation. Built in the 19th century, the inn has seen generations of travelers and locals pass through its doors. Over time, it has witnessed personal triumphs and tragedies, events that some paranormal experts believe can leave residual energy within a space. Objects in the inn, including furniture and mirrors, may serve as conduits for this energy, enabling apparitions to manifest and interact with the living. Staff and guests alike note that the age and preservation of the inn's original features create shadows, reflections, and acoustic anomalies that can amplify these experiences. Though many insist that what they encounter cannot be explained solely by architectural quirks, paranormal investigators visiting the Carrollton Inn employ a variety of tools to capture evidence of its haunting. Infrared cameras, audio recorders, and electromagnetic field detectors have documented anomalies, including unexplained shadows, temperature fluctuations, and EVP, electronic voice phenomena. Recordings of faint whispers. Investigators frequently remark on the consistency of guest reports with their own observations, suggesting that the inn's supernatural activity is not merely a product of imagination or expectation. Patterns of activity, such as repeated manifestations in room 213 and along certain hallways, indicate that the phenomena may be tied to specific areas within the building rather than being randomly distributed. Emotional responses to encounters at the Carrollton Inn vary widely. Some guests report feelings of dread or anxiety, while others describe a sense of curiosity or fascination, drawn to the possibility of engaging with the unknown. The interplay of visual, auditory, and tactile experiences, shadowy figures, whispers, cold drafts, and moving objects creates an immersive environment that makes the supernatural feel tangible. Even skeptics often leave with stories of events they cannot explain, reinforcing the inn's reputation as a place where the past and the present converge in mysterious ways. Staff members, familiar with the inn's haunted nature, often treat these occurrences as part of their daily environment. Housekeeping, night staff, and management report personal experiences that mirror those of guests, including sudden chills, fleeting shadows, and objects moving without cause. Their insights help identify areas of consistent activity and provide context for new visitors experiencing the phenomena for the first time. The Carrollton Inn continues to attract visitors intrigued by both its historic architecture and its paranormal activity. Shadowy figures, cold drafts, whispers, ghostly laughter, and the notorious Room 213 ensured that each stay is imbued with a sense of mystery. The experiences reported here are both captivating and unsettling, offering guests a direct connection to the spectral presence that has lingered for generations. Each encounter adds to the legacy of the inner place, where the boundary between the living and the supernatural is experienced as both immediate and undeniable, making the Carrollton in one of New Orleans' most compelling destinations for those drawn to the unknown. The Congress Plaza Hotel in Chicago, Illinois, stands as one of the city's oldest and most storied accommodations, blending historic grandeur with a persistent reputation for paranormal activity. Guests and staff have long reported unusual occurrences, ranging from shadowy figures moving through corridors to unexplained cold spots and whispers that seem to emanate from the walls themselves. These experiences suggest that the hotel is not merely a place of lodging, but a site where the boundary between the living and the spectral is occasionally blurred. One of the most frequently reported phenomena involves shadowy figures moving through hallways or walking past doors. Visitors often describe fleeting glimpses of a man in dark attire, appearing at the edge of their vision and disappearing when they attempt to look directly. In many cases, these figures are seen near the elevator or in the long corridors that stretch along the upper floors. One particularly chilling account details a guest observing a shadowy man standing just outside the elevator, watching intently. As the lights flickered, the figure vanished instantly, leaving behind only a lingering sense of unease. Guests frequently report feeling as though they are being observed, even when no one else is present, suggesting a persistent, intelligent presence that interacts selectively with those in the hotel. Cold spots are another hallmark of the Congress Plaza Hotel's haunted reputation. Guests commonly describe sudden drops in temperature in specific rooms or hallways, often accompanied by the sensation of an unseen hand brushing against them or a pressure on their shoulders. These temperature anomalies defy explanation, occurring even when heating or air conditioning systems are functioning normally. Whispers and disembodied voices are another persistent element of the hotel's paranormal activity. Guests report hearing soft murmurs or fragments of conversation when walking through empty hallways or entering vacant rooms. Some claim that the whispers call their names or utter cryptic warnings, while others hear voices that seem to come from inside the walls themselves. The whispers often coincide with the appearance of shadowy figures or cold spots, suggesting a multi-sensory presence that manifests in both sound and visual forms. Night staff have reported hearing these same whispers during rounds, describing the experience as deeply unsettling, as if unseen individuals are moving alongside them, aware of their every step. Several rooms within the Congress Plaza Hotel have earned reputations for concentrated activity. Guests staying in suites along the upper floors frequently report the combination of shadowy figures, sudden cold, and whispering voices. One visitor described entering a room only to feel a presence immediately, as if someone invisible were observing from a corner. Objects such as chairs or small items sometimes appear slightly moved after a guest has been away, despite no one else having entered the space. These disturbances are subtle yet unnerving, suggesting that the hotel's spectral inhabitants are deliberate in their movements and interactions. The history of the Congress Plaza Hotel may provide insight into its haunting. Constructed in 1893, the hotel has witnessed more than a century of events, from the daily comings and goings of travelers to larger social and political gatherings. Its long existence has made it a repository of human experience, and some paranormal experts believe that intense or traumatic events can imprint on a space, allowing residual energy or spirits to linger long after the original occupants are gone. Reports of figures dressed in early 20th century attire, moving independently through hallways, lend weight to the idea that some apparitions are tied to specific periods in the hotel's past. Paranormal investigators have frequently visited the Congress Plaza Hotel to document these phenomena, using tools such as infrared cameras, electromagnetic field detectors, and audio recorders. They have captured anomalies that correspond to guest and staff reports, shadows moving without a source, sudden drops in temperature, and faint voices on recordings provide evidence of activity that defies conventional explanation. Investigators note the consistency of experiences across decades, indicating that the hauntings are neither sporadic nor exaggerated by expectation alone. Certain areas, such as corridors near the elevators and upper floor suites, appear to be focal points for this activity, suggesting that the building itself may channel supernatural energy in specific patterns. Emotional responses to encounters at the Congress Plaza Hotel vary from fear and anxiety to fascination and curiosity. Guests often report an initial shock when witnessing an apparition or feeling a cold draft, followed by a lingering awareness of the hotel's haunted character. Many describe the experience as immersive, with visual, auditory, and tactile sensations combining to create an environment where the supernatural feels immediate and tangible. Even skeptics frequently leave with accounts of events they cannot explain, reinforcing the hotel's reputation as a site where the unseen intersects with daily life. Staff members, accustomed to the hotel's history, treat these phenomena with cautious respect. Housekeeping, maintenance, and night shift personnel regularly report experiences similar to those of guests, including fleeting shadows, cold spots, and unexplained sounds. Their familiarity with the patterns of activity allows them to provide guidance to new guests, such as which areas to avoid at night or how to interpret unusual occurrences. The Congress Plaza Hotel continues to attract visitors intrigued by its historic architecture and haunted legacy. Shadowy figures, cold drafts, whispers, and rooms with concentrated activity ensure that each stay offers a direct connection to the unexplained. Guests leave with stories of encounters that cannot be easily dismissed, and investigators continue to document evidence of paranormal phenomena that suggest the hotel is a living repository of Chicago's spectral history. Each shadow, chill, and whisper contributes to the enduring reputation of the Congress Plaza Hotel, making it a compelling destination for those drawn to the mysteries of the supernatural. The Broadmoor Hotel in Colorado Springs, Colorado, is renowned for its luxurious accommodations and sweeping views of the Rocky Mountains. Yet beneath its elegance lies a history intertwined with eerie and unexplained phenomena. Guests and staff alike have reported unusual occurrences that suggest the presence of lingering spirits, from objects moving inexplicably to shadowy figures in Victorian attire. The hotel has developed a reputation for being one of Colorado's most haunted historic landmarks. Visitors often recount waking to bedsheets or pillows shifted in ways that could not have been caused by themselves. One guest described returning to a room after dinner to find the bed neatly made. Yet the arrangement of pillows had changed, as though someone had pressed or adjusted them while no one else was present. Objects such as chairs, glasses, and books have been reported moving short distances, often leaving guests with a sense that they were being observed by unseen hands. These incidents are not isolated to specific floors or wings. Rather, reports suggest that paranormal activity can occur throughout the hotel, though some rooms seem to have a higher concentration of events. A particularly chilling aspect of the Broadmoor Hotel's haunted reputation involves sightings of figures dressed in Victorian-era clothing. Guests describe seeing men and women briefly appearing in hallways or standing near the foot of the bed before vanishing when approached. One visitor recalled observing a woman in a long, flowing gown standing by a window, gazing out toward the mountains. As the guest approached to speak or investigate, the figure simply disappeared, leaving behind only the faint scent of lavender and the unsettling impression of someone who had been fully present only moments before. Staff members have corroborated these sightings, noting similar figures glimpsed in passing or standing silently near historic staircases and corridors. Whispers and soft murmurs are another common occurrence, often reported during the quiet hours of the night. Guests have claimed to hear voices echoing in hallways, reciting names, or speaking in hushed tones that vanish when anyone tries to locate the source. One particularly unnerving account involved a guest hearing whispers recounting past tragedies that had occurred on the property. though the details of these incidents were never fully understood. The voices are described as mournful, yet indifferent, as though the speakers are aware of the living world, but remain detached from it. Cold spots and sudden changes in temperature further contribute to the Broadmoor's haunted reputation. Guests often report feeling a chill in otherwise warm rooms, sometimes accompanied by the sensation of being touched or watched. Housekeeping and maintenance staff have noted similar experiences, including sudden drops in temperature, particularly near hallways, staircases, and historic rooms. These phenomena often occur without any natural explanation, heightening the sense that unseen entities are moving through the space. Several rooms in the hotel are particularly notorious for frequent activity. Guests staying in suites with original furnishings have reported beds moving, objects shifting, and the brief appearance of figures dressed in 19th century attire. Many visitors describe an overwhelming sense of presence, as though they are not alone in the room, accompanied by the faint sound of whispers or footsteps. Some guests note that the activity seems to intensify during the night, particularly in the hours just before dawn, creating an atmosphere of tension and anticipation that lingers even after leaving the hotel. Paranormal investigators have frequently visited the Broadmoor Hotel to document these occurrences. Using cameras, audio recorders, and electromagnetic field detectors, they have captured anomalies consistent with guest reports. Shadowy figures recorded in hallways, sudden temperature drops, and unexplained sounds provide evidence of activity beyond normal explanation. Investigators note that certain historic areas, including hallways near the older wings and rooms retaining original decor, appear to serve as focal points for manifestations. These areas seem to channel residual energy, possibly linked to the hotel's long history and past inhabitants. The Broadmoor's rich history offers context for the hauntings. Since its opening in 1918, the hotel has hosted countless guests, social gatherings, and events. Over the decades, tragedies such as accidental deaths and sudden illnesses have occurred on the property, and some paranormal experts believe these intense emotional events can leave lasting imprints. Visitors often describe an uncanny sense that the hotel retains memory of these events, with ghosts manifesting as brief visual apparitions, tactile interactions, or auditory phenomena. The combination of historical significance and unexplained activity makes the Broadmoor a unique location for both paranormal investigation and historical exploration. Emotional responses to encounters at the Broadmoor vary widely. Some guests are frightened, startled by sudden movements, whispers, or ghostly appearances. Others experience curiosity or fascination, drawn to the mystery of interacting with a location that holds remnants of the past in such an immediate and tangible way. Even skeptical visitors often leave with stories of events they cannot explain, from shifting objects to fleeting figures in hallways, reinforcing the hotel's reputation as a place where the line between the living and the spectral is thin. Staff members have developed an awareness of the hotel's haunted character, often sharing their own stories or advising guests on which areas of the property have historically shown the most activity. Housekeeping and night staff report moving cautiously through the halls, aware of subtle presences and unusual sounds that occur when the hotel is otherwise quiet. Their familiarity with these patterns allows them to navigate the hotel safely while acknowledging the lingering spirits that may remain from decades past. The Broadmoor Hotel continues to attract visitors for its luxurious accommodations, scenic views, and its reputation as a haunted historic landmark. Guests encounter shadowy figures, moving objects, whispers, and cold spots that offer a direct connection to a mysterious past. Paranormal investigators continue to document evidence of unexplained phenomena, while guests leave with stories of encounters that defy explanation. Each shifted pillow, whispered name, and fleeting figure adds to the enduring reputation of the Broadmoor Hotel, making it a destination where history, elegance, and the supernatural coexist in a chilling yet captivating way. The Peabody Hotel in Memphis, Tennessee, is famous not only for its historic elegance and the daily march of the hotel's resident ducks, but also for a long-standing reputation for paranormal activity. Guests and staff alike have shared accounts of unexplained phenomena that seem to echo from the hotel's past, lending an air of mystery and unease to an otherwise luxurious destination. Cold spots, moving objects, and ghostly figures are among the most frequently reported occurrences, making the Peabody a hotspot for both paranormal enthusiasts and curious travelers seeking a brush with the unknown. Visitors to the hotel have often noted sudden drops in temperature in certain areas, particularly along hallways and near staircases. These cold spots appear without any discernible source, lingering just long enough to produce a sense of unease. One guest recounted standing in a corridor late at night, feeling an icy draft brush past her face, though all doors and windows were closed. Moments later, she noticed a small chair had been moved slightly from its original position, as if someone or something had brushed against it. These inexplicable shifts in the environment have been a common theme among multiple reports, suggesting that the Peabody's spectral presence interacts with the physical world in subtle yet unnerving ways. Footsteps are another frequent occurrence. Guests have reported hearing the distinct sound of shoes clicking against the polished floors of hallways when no one is present. These footsteps are often rhythmic and deliberate, resembling the movements of a person walking purposefully, yet attempts to locate the source invariably lead to empty corridors. Some witnesses describe the sounds as coming from the upper floors, as if ghosts were pacing near the historic rooms that have hosted countless visitors over the decades. Staff members, particularly those working night shifts, have occasionally felt compelled to check hallways or rooms where the footsteps were heard, only to find nothing amiss. The Peabody's rooftop bar, a popular gathering spot with panoramic views of Memphis, has also been the site of reported paranormal activity. Guests have occasionally seen shadowy figures passing across windows or moving along the terrace, even when no one is outside. One bartender described witnessing the silhouette of a man in a long coat walking across the rooftop at night. When he looked again, the figure had vanished, leaving no footprints or other indications that someone had been there. Patrons have reported similar sightings, often accompanied by an unsettling sensation of being observed. The combination of open views and occasional eerie movement adds a layer of tension to the otherwise vibrant atmosphere of the rooftop bar. Objects moving independently is another hallmark of the Peabody's hauntings. Guests have discovered chairs, books, and decorative items slightly displaced from their original positions, sometimes multiple times during a single stay. One visitor recalled returning to her room after dinner to find a chair from the sitting area pulled closer to the bed, despite her having left it perfectly aligned earlier in the evening. In other instances, light objects like coasters or napkins have been seen sliding across tables as if pushed by invisible hands. These subtle interactions are enough to unsettle even the most skeptical observer, reinforcing the impression that unseen forces are actively present within the hotel. Several rooms in the hotel have developed a reputation for heightened activity. Guests staying in historic suites have reported not only cold spots and moving objects, but also the sensation of being watched. Shadows have been observed at the edge of vision, vanishing when looked at directly. One visitor described waking in the middle of the night to see a fleeting figure standing near the window, its features obscured by darkness, only to disappear when she attempted to call for help. The combination of visual, auditory, and tactile phenomena contributes to an overwhelming sense that the hotel harbors lingering presences from its storied past. Paranormal investigators have visited the Peabody Hotel to document the reported phenomena, using audio recorders, infrared cameras, and other monitoring equipment. They have captured anomalies consistent with guest experiences. Shadowy figures, unexplained cold spots, and subtle movement of objects provide evidence that the hotel is a site of ongoing supernatural activity. Investigators suggest that the age of the building, combined with its long history of significant events and countless visitors, may contribute to residual energy manifesting as these ghostly encounters. The hotel's history provides context for its hauntings. Since opening in 1869, the Peabody has hosted dignitaries, celebrities, and travelers from around the world. Tragedies, sudden deaths, and intense emotional events throughout its long history may have left lasting impressions, forming what some paranormal experts describe as an energetic imprint. These imprints could explain why certain areas, such as the rooftop bar, historic suites, and hallways, seem to serve as focal points for paranormal activity. Guests often describe a sense that the hotel is not merely a place of lodging, but a location where past and present converge in unexpected ways. The responses of guests and staff to these occurrences vary. Some are frightened, startled by sudden movements, cold drafts, or mysterious shadows. Others are fascinated, eager to experience firsthand the hotel's haunted reputation. Even skeptical visitors often leave with stories of events they cannot explain, from dislocated objects to fleeting apparitions. Staff members have adapted to the phenomenon over time, sharing experiences with one another and occasionally warning guests about rooms or areas with higher reported activity. These stories, passed along through both staff and visitors, have cemented the Peabody's place as a legendary haunted hotel in the American South. The Peabody Hotel's combination of historic significance, luxury, and paranormal intrigue continues to draw attention. Guests encounter cold spots, moving objects, shadowy figures, and whispers that seem to echo from the past. Paranormal investigators continue to study and document the phenomena, providing further validation of the hotel's eerie reputation. Whether experiencing a fleeting shadow on the rooftop, a cold breeze in a hallway, or the soft murmur of footsteps in an empty room, visitors leave with the impression that the Peabody Hotel is more than just a hotel. It is a place where history, mystery, and the supernatural coexist in an enigmatic, chilling harmony. The Peabody remains a destination where luxury meets legend, where guests can enjoy world-class accommodations while remaining aware that the unseen may be watching. With each sighting, whisper, and unexplained movement, the hotel reinforces its reputation as one of the South's most haunted locations, leaving an indelible impression on all who enter its historic halls. The West Baden Springs Hotel in Indiana, often referred to as the eighth wonder of the world for its impressive domed atrium, is renowned not only for its architectural marvels, but also for a long-standing reputation as one of the most haunted hotels in the Midwest. Guests and staff alike have shared countless stories of unexplained phenomena, from ghostly music to shadowy figures in period clothing, giving the historic property an air of mystery that complements its grandeur. Reports of phantom activity have persisted for decades, making it a destination not only for luxury and history enthusiasts, but also for those intrigued by the paranormal. One of the most commonly reported experiences at the West Baden Springs Hotel is the sound of phantom music. Visitors have described hearing the faint strains of piano or orchestral music echoing through the grand atrium or the quieter corridors of the older sections of the hotel. Often, the music appears to come from rooms or halls that are completely empty, vanishing when one attempts to locate the source. Some guests claim that the melodies are reminiscent of performances from the hotel's early days in the early 20th century, suggesting that the echoes may be residual energy from past events, concerts, or social gatherings. The music often evokes a sense of nostalgia and eeriness, making it feel as though the hotel itself is replaying fragments of its storied history. Doors slamming on their own is another frequently cited phenomenon. Guests report hearing sudden, loud bangs, particularly late at night or in empty hallways. These slams often occur in areas where no one is present, and the doors sometimes appear securely closed beforehand. One visitor recounted leaving her room to find the corridor completely vacant, yet she had heard the unmistakable sound of a door banging shut multiple times. Staff members have also observed doors moving or closing without any visible force, leading many to believe that the hotel is inhabited by lingering spirits that interact subtly or sometimes aggressively with the physical world. Whispering voices are a persistent feature of the hotel's paranormal reputation. Guests have reported hearing soft, unintelligible murmurs coming from empty rooms or echoing through the atrium late at night. These whispers are often fleeting, fading when approached, leaving those who hear them with a sense of being observed or followed. In some cases, Visitors have claimed that the voices seem to call their names, creating an unsettling personal connection to the unseen presence. Staff have noted that these experiences are most common in areas that once served as ballrooms, lounges, or private parlors, hinting at the possibility that the voices are echoes of guests from the hotel's heyday. Sightings of figures in old-fashioned formal wear further add to the hotel's eerie allure. These figures are often described as fleeting, vanishing when approached or when a light is shined in their direction. One guest recounted seeing a woman in a long, flowing gown standing on a balcony, gazing across the atrium as if waiting for someone. When the guest stepped closer, the figure disappeared, leaving only an empty balcony and the faint echo of footsteps. These apparitions appeared to be tied to the hotel's historic past, suggesting that the grandeur of its social life has left an imprint on the building itself. The West Baden Springs Hotel has attracted paranormal investigators seeking to document these phenomena. Some recordings feature unexplained sounds, including faint piano music, whispers, and footsteps. Infrared cameras have picked up fleeting shadows moving along hallways and balconies, corroborating eyewitness accounts. Investigators have noted that certain areas, such as the atrium and older guest rooms, are particularly active, reinforcing the idea that the hotel's architecture and long history contribute to an environment conducive to paranormal occurrences. Many paranormal experts believe that the hotel's history, marked by opulence, social gatherings, and sometimes tragedy, contributes to the spectral activity. Since its opening in 1902, the West Baden Springs Hotel has hosted a wide range of events, including balls, concerts, and high society parties. Over time, the intense emotional energy generated by these events may have been absorbed by the building, leaving residual impressions that occasionally manifest as music, voices, or apparitions. Tragic events, such as untimely deaths or accidents during the hotel's early days, may also contribute to a concentrated spiritual presence, further explaining the patterns of reported hauntings. The reactions of guests and staff to these experiences vary widely. Some are frightened, startled by the sudden music, slamming doors, or figures glimpsed from the corner of their eyes. Others are intrigued, drawn to the mysterious and historic ambience of the hotel. Even those who approach the hotel primarily for its architecture and luxurious accommodations often leave with stories of unexplained events that they cannot rationalize. Staff have adapted over time, learning to anticipate areas of high activity and occasionally warning visitors about specific rooms or times when paranormal phenomena are more likely to occur. The West Baden Springs Hotel continues to captivate visitors, offering not just a glimpse into architectural splendor, but also an encounter with the unknown. Phantom music, slamming doors, whispering voices, and fleeting figures in period clothing serve as reminders of the hotel's storied past and its lingering spirits. Guests may find themselves pausing to listen to the faint echo of a piano, or staring at an empty balcony where a ghostly figure once stood. These experiences, whether frightening or fascinating, create a unique connection between the past and the present, making a stay at the West Baden Springs Hotel a hauntingly memorable event. For those who visit, the hotel is more than a luxurious retreat. It is a place where history, mystery, and the paranormal intersect. Each sighting, sound, or sudden chill reinforces the reputation of the West Baden Springs Hotel as a premier haunted destination. Visitors leave with the impression that, despite the passage of time, the echoes of the past remain, quietly observing and interacting with all who enter its magnificent halls. From the ghostly music drifting through the atrium to the mysterious figures on balconies, the West Baden Springs Hotel offers an unforgettable encounter with the supernatural. The Rougham House Hotel in Maine is an historic establishment that has long attracted visitors for its quaint charm, scenic surroundings, and storied past. Yet beyond its picturesque exterior, the hotel carries a reputation that has intrigued and unsettled countless guests. It is said to be haunted. Reports of strange occurrences, shadowy figures, and unexplained sounds have persisted for decades. giving the Ruffam House an aura of mystery that continues to draw paranormal enthusiasts and curious travelers alike. Guests frequently recount experiences that defy explanation. One of the most common reports involves shadows moving across hallways or rooms, often glimpsed from the corner of the eye. Visitors describe passing through corridors only to catch fleeting, dark silhouettes that vanish as soon as attention is focused on them. The figures are often described as translucent, with the faint suggestion of clothing from another era, giving the impression of spirits tied to the hotel's history rather than malevolent intrusions. Disembodied whispers are another hallmark of the Ruffam House's haunted reputation. Guests have reported hearing soft, almost unintelligible murmurs in empty rooms, corridors, and dining areas. Sometimes the whispers are fleeting, fading as quickly as they arrive, while other times they seem to carry warnings or fragments of conversations. One guest recalled lying in bed late at night, certain they were alone, when they distinctly heard their name being whispered, followed by the faint echo of laughter that seemed both familiar and unnerving. Staff members have corroborated such experiences, noting that these sounds often occur in rooms that were once used by the hotel's earliest residents or in areas where private gatherings were historically held. A particularly unsettling phenomenon reported by visitors is the sensation of cold hands resting on their shoulders. Many guests have recounted waking suddenly in the middle of the night, feeling a distinct pressure on their shoulder or back, only to turn and find the room completely empty. This sensation is often accompanied by a sudden chill that fills the space around them, sometimes lingering even after the initial contact has ceased. Paranormal investigators have suggested that this could indicate residual energy or a tethered spirit attempting to communicate or interact with the living, a theory supported by the hotel's long and complex history. Investigators who have studied the Ruffam House often point to reflections in windows as areas of particular activity. Using infrared cameras and other monitoring equipment, they have documented faint, human-like images appearing in mirrors, windows, and glass surfaces. These apparitions often seem unaware of their observers, moving slowly or standing motionless as if caught between worlds. Some researchers speculate that these manifestations could be echoes of former residents, replaying fragments of their daily lives long after passing, while others believe the phenomena may represent more active spirits aware of the living presence in the hotel. Several guests have reported simultaneous experiences, suggesting a highly active spiritual environment. One family recounted entering the lobby late in the evening and witnessing shadows flitting across the walls, hearing whispers that seemed to float from one corner to another, and feeling sudden cold spots that followed them as they moved through the building. Such multi-sensory encounters are often cited by paranormal experts as indicators of concentrated energy or multiple spirits inhabiting a single location. The hotel's age and long history of occupancy by different families over generations may contribute to the layers of activity observed by visitors. The Ruffam House's historical background plays a significant role in its haunted reputation. Built in the 1800s, the hotel has seen countless events, from festive gatherings and weddings to periods of hardship and personal tragedies among residents. It is believed that the intense emotions experienced by those who lived and worked in the building over the centuries have left energetic imprints, which occasionally manifest as visual, auditory, or tactile phenomena. Researchers in the field of paranormal studies often refer to this as residual haunting, where strong, emotional, or traumatic experiences imprint on a location, replaying in a subtle, sometimes startling manner, despite or perhaps because of its haunted reputation. The Ruffam House Hotel continues to attract visitors seeking both relaxation and a brush with the unknown. Guests describe a mix of fascination and apprehension, with some hoping for a glimpse of the paranormal and others reluctantly encountering it during their stay. Staff members have grown accustomed to unusual occurrences, sometimes witnessing shadows, hearing whispers, or experiencing unexplained sensations themselves. Their first-hand accounts lend credibility to guest reports and reinforce the hotel's image as a place where the past is never entirely gone. For paranormal investigators, The Rougham House offers a rich environment to study unexplained phenomena. Equipment such as motion sensors, night vision cameras, and audio recorders frequently capture anomalies, flashes of light, unexpected sounds, and apparitions appearing and disappearing in hallways or rooms. Investigators note that certain areas, particularly the original guest rooms and older sections of the hotel, are hotspots for activity, suggesting a correlation between the age of the structure, its historical occupancy, and the level of spiritual presence. Ultimately, the Rougham House Hotel stands as a unique intersection of history, hospitality, and the paranormal. Shadowy figures, disembodied whispers, and cold, unseen touches combine to create an atmosphere that is both unsettling and compelling. Visitors leave with stories that range from subtle chills to full encounters with apparitions, often recounting experiences that defy conventional explanation. Whether seen as residual echoes of past residents or active spirits lingering among the living, the phenomena at the Rougham House Hotel continue to captivate those who enter, ensuring that its reputation as one of Maine's most haunted locations remains firmly intact. Guests who choose to stay often find that the hotel offers more than comfort and charm. It provides a direct connection to the past, a living museum where echoes of former lives continue to make themselves known. From the fleeting shadows in the hallways to the whispering voices in the night, the Rougham House Hotel reminds all who enter that some histories never rest quietly, leaving an indelible impression on those willing to notice them, perhaps to be part of the story themselves. Hotels are meant to shelter us from the night. Yet, for some, the night never ends. The guests you've heard about tonight stayed in rooms where the past never sleeps, and the spirits never leave. These stories remind us, some walls hold more than paint and wallpaper. They hold memories, anger, and unrest. So, if you ever stay in a historic hotel, listen carefully. You may not be alone. Thank you for joining us on this chilling journey. Subscribe, like, and click the bell for more haunted stories where the past refuses to rest and the spirits may be watching you even now.